live at sold-out Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey for the must-meeting between the Phoenix Cardinals and the New York Giants. And here's the picture in the NFC East. Philadelphia, New York, both at 8-5, a game ahead of Phoenix. Washington still with playoff hopes at 6-7, a game behind the Cardinals. Hi, I'm Pat Summerall. Quite simply put, as simply as perhaps you can put it, the Giants win all three, they're in the playoffs. The Cardinals win all three, they could be in the playoffs, but the difference is they need some help. At midweek, neither team was sure of who was going to start at quarterback. Neither Sims or Neil Lomax were confirmed. Now they are. They both will start. With me, of course, is John Madden. And John, let's take the Cardinals first. Lomax back. How do they approach this game?
Well, you know, it was interesting. We were talking to Gene Stallings last night, and he said, usually I go into a game and offensively, I say, we want to be able to run the ball. That's our #1 goal, because if we can do that, I think we can get some other things going. He said, but in this game, he said, we have Neil Lomax coming back. He has a torn collateral ligament. He's wearing a big new brace. He's not the most mobile quarterback in the league anyway. And so the #1 goal we have today is protection, because Lomax has been able to practice, he's been able to throw, but he hasn't taken a hit yet. And then you think on that other side is here comes Lawrence Taylor, who I believe right now is the best defensive player in the league. So the Cardinals' first objective is going to be to keep Taylor or keep the rest of the Giants off Lomax.
Now, Phil Simms has a bad shoulder. He wasn't the most mobile quarterback in the league either. How is that going to affect his play and the Giants' philosophy?
Well, I think it's the same thing. Simms probably has a little better chance because, as you say, here you're talking about his shoulder. At least from the waist down, he can move. He can get away from a rush. But I do know this, that the Cardinals feel that they aren't going to get enough rush with their 4 defensive linemen. Gene Stallings says we have to put pressure on Simms. We have to find out if he can take a hit, and we're going to give him an awful lot of blitzing today.
Well, the first strategic thing we can talk about, John, is the fact that the Giants won the toss and elected to kick off. They'll take the wind, and that wind down on the field is swirling, coming directly out of the west on the top of the stadium, but down on that stadium deck you can't tell. And twice now the ball is blown off the tee. For
Gary Williams is going to be there to hold. If the ball can't stay up there in the tee, the next thing they have to do is bring in a holder for it.
A dangerous man back for the Cardinals by Sikahema. Pro Bowl kickoff and punt returner comes from about a yard deep in the end zone. Fumble, and the Giants come up with it. Harry Williams made the recovery.
And Bill Parcells, they win the toss, say, no, we don't want it. We'll kick off to you. We want you to have to go in the win. Then they come down, good kickoff coverage, get their hand in there, knock the ball out of Sikahema's hand, who was just activated today.
It was Wayne Haddix who stripped it from Sikahema. And the Giants get the first turnover in the first break. 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 23. And off Joe Morris, and he's hammered at the line of scrimmage by Rod Sadler. Phil Simms will start at quarterback for the Giants, with Joe Morris and Maurice Carthon behind him. Manuel and Baker, the wide receivers, and Mark Bavaro at tight end. Elliott, Ard, Oates, Moore, and Riesenberg up front. The 6th different combination of offensive line the Giants have had this year. Second, Simms back. Pass is caught at his knees by Bavaro. Lester Lyles knocked him down. It'll be a Giant first down and a gain of 9. Here's the Phoenix defense. They play a 4-man front. Freddie Joe Nunn having a great year. Bob Glasby, Rod Sadler, and David Galloway up front. The linebackers, Bell, Nico Noga in the middle, and E.J. Jr. Secondary, a beat-up secondary. Morris behind the line by Galloway. There's a guy with a lot of talent who just hasn't been able to stay healthy.
I'll tell you, and if you let a guy like that come free like this, Watch Galloway. He's up here in the top right here. And if he can come free like this, they don't even block him. Carthon misses him. He dives right over. He hits Joe Morris before he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
That's a heck of a play by Galloway.
Great play by Galloway. It's a tough block for Carthon.
And so Sims back to throw it again. Has time. Gets out to Morris. Down near the 5. B.J. Jr. knocked him down, a gain of 8.
I think the interesting thing here, Pat, is Bill Sims is wearing gloves today. He did it once. Remember when they went to the Super Bowl in the championship game against the Redskins, and he says he does it to get a tighter spiral on a windy day.
And yesterday, when we watched him throwing after the Giant meetings, he was wearing them yesterday.
I think that's a big thing. It's okay to wear them in a game if you practice with them.
Right. Third down. They need 3, and they give it to Morris. They might get more. Nope. Hit at about the 5 by Tim McDonald. And a good play by McDonald.
And the fans are booing that one because now the Giants are going to have to go for the field goal. They wanted him to throw the ball, or at least they wanted him to get a first down. They had that thing blocked well, except for McDonald. He was a strong safety. They blocked the line, they blocked the linebackers, and then the Cardinals had a free guy in Tim McDonald.
Ball McFadden with Hostetler holding. McFadden has been incredible. He's been extremely effective. And he's good again. So with 11:38 left to play in the first quarter, 11:36 make that. The Giants lead it 3-0. The skyline of Manhattan across the Hudson. The Giants 3, the Phoenix Cardinals nothing. And that guy's got to live here. I wonder if he's got a season ticket.
He just came out and said, why the heck didn't you guys score? Why didn't you get down there and throw the ball? I told you, throw the ball. You guys can't run worth a darn anyway. He said, I've been watching you guys now for 3 months this year. I don't know what happened to your running game. You get down there, you ought to throw it.
That's a perturbed squirrel.
He's mad.
He's looking the other way even. Madden's kickoff comes to Lasker. 6 Giants. Lasker gets outside the 20, about the 22. And Neil Lomax will lead the Cardinals in the beginning at least. The last meeting, which the Cardinals won, Lomax had a big day. 3-man front, of course, for the Giants. Dorsey, Burt, and Marshall. The linebackers, Banks and Lawrence Taylor outside. Pepper, Johnson, and Gary Reasons inside. Secondary, Sheldon White, the rookie left cornerback. Perry Williams, the other corner. Kennard and Hill, the safeties. Neil Lomax, 1st and 10 Cardinals, their own 23. Earl Farrell, the move man back there with Stump Mitchell. Back to Farrell. Farrell upended at about the 25. Lawrence Taylor stopped it. The Phoenix offense, led by Lomax, has Stump Mitchell and Farrell the backs, J.T. Smith and Roy Green, 2 of the best. The wideouts, and Robert Awalt, the tight end. Up front, the wide bodies, Louis Sharp, Todd Pete, Derek Kennard, Lance Smith, and Tootie Robbins. 2nd and 9. Farrell got only a yard. Bright sunshine, but very windy. Lomax to Mitchell, and Mitchell hammers outside the 30. About a yard shy of a first down after a gain of 8. Kenny Hill made the stop.
You know, one thing about the Cardinals, most of their running is inside. But they always want to keep a guy on Lawrence Taylor. They bring Awalt, their tight end, over to the other side just so he has to play against something. They don't want him to play against air. And they're not going to run at him. They're going to run inside him. But they don't want him to come in and chase it from behind.
3rd and 1. Cardinal ball their own 32. Behind the
You have to have play from your nose tackle. Watch Burt. He gets penetration. He gets barrel before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. I think what happened, Derek Kennard, the center, expected Burt to play into him. And Burt just went boom, and he jumped around that right side. See him over there, he's smiling. So, boy, did I fool him. He thought I was going to be there, and I wasn't.
Greg Horn to punt for the Cardinals, and in warm-ups, I was down on the field, and he was having a terrible time. This one's not bad. McConkey signals fair catch. And the Giants will take over after a 32-yard punt by Horn. Giants will take over at their own 37. 9:11 left to play in the first quarter at Giants Stadium in this must game for both teams. 3-0 Giants. Giants 3, Cardinals nothing.
That's just Pat. A big third down play by Burt. He's here. He jumps here. They were going to try and wham him here with Wolfley. But watch what happens. The center is going to go to the right. See? Burt jumps around. Watch the whap block right there. Burt's too strong. Hangs in there. Boom. Whap. Whap. Big third down play.
Force the Cardinals to punt. The Giants have the ball now at their own 38-yard line, 1st and 10. Make it to 37.
That nose tackle, you know, they never know where they're going to get blocked from, but Burt is he's like a fire plug in there. It doesn't make any difference. He doesn't even have to see him coming.
Bill Sims on 1st down to throw it. Gets it outside to Maurice Carthon. Hit by Tim McDonald. After a gain of 2, Washington and Philadelphia, and that big one at Veterans Stadium, 0-0, first quarter. Miami, touchdown by Lorenzo Hampton over Indianapolis, and Detroit 3-0 over Green Bay. All those in the first quarter. Here it's 3-0 Giants at sold-out Giants Stadium, 2nd and 8. Carthon and Adams are the 2 backs this time, and the handoff is to Carthon, who picks his way over the left side for a good gain. Stopped finally by Sadler, but he got 6 yards.
Well, you know, William Roberts, the normal left tackle for the Giants, has been injured, so rookie John Elliott is starting over there. The big 6'7", 305-pound guy out of Michigan. And you see how they try and get those jerseys tight on there so that they can't grab them. But Elliott is a good run blocker. Eventually, I think he's going to be a good pass blocker and a top tackle in this league.
Now, Riesenberg is lined up next to Elliott as an extra tight end over the left side. Morris bounced for a 1st down, a gain of 2. Stopped by Lester Lyles.
That's the thing. I think if there's anything the Giants would like to do today is get back some running game. You know, just be able to run enough so that you can get some 1st downs, you can control the ball. Then if you can do that, then you can play pass off of that. And that's the type of offense that Bill Parcells would love to have.
Straight ahead to Adams, hit at the line of scrimmage by Sadler again.
Well, they didn't get Big Rod Sadler blocked that time. Earlier, they'd run a play and they didn't get Galloway blocked. Here's Sadler right here. And you watch him as the ball snaps. You can see Ard is going to fire out to him, to his inside, protect him, and he just penetrates there. I would think Ard looked like he was blocking down, and maybe Elliott was supposed to come down. But in any case, no one blocked Rod Sadler.
2nd and 9 in midfield. Sims to Bavaro, who has it. Down inside the 15, stopped finally by Lyles. Sims looks fine.
And especially if he can find a guy wide open like Mark Bavaro. You know, he likes that pass. He likes to, he's looking to his left, looking to his outside receiver. Now that puts the defense out, and now Lyles has man-to-man on Bavaro straight down the field. Here's the most important part, though. We don't know if Phil Simms can take a hit, so you don't want to find out. He has great pass protection.
Morris cuts back to the left, stopped by Lyles, but gets inside the 10. Joe Morris got 5 yards. Gene Stallings, the head coach in his 3rd year with the Cardinals.
Yeah, it was interesting. Bavaro, that was Lester Lyles who he was on. And that was the thing Gene Stallings was worried about is Lonnie Young, his starting free safety, is injured. His backup, Travis Curtis, was injured. They just got Lester Lyles a couple of weeks ago.
Had been with the Jets and had been out of football. Here comes the blitz. And it is successful by Lyles. Sims down at the 20. He had no chance, but he got up in a hurry.
This is the thing that the Cardinals said they're going to do today. Gene Stallings says he really doesn't like to blitz, but he said we can't get enough pressure without of it. So he says we're going to go and blitz Sims. He said that's the only way we're going to get there, plus we have to find out if he's okay or not.
3rd down and about 5 or 6. Receivers for the Giants, in fact 4 now. Mark Ingram just activated, flag on the play. This is something the Giants have not done much of. That is 4 wide receivers. Ingram just activated, as I mentioned. Gene Barth, the referee.
Play again, number 11 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
In fact, Bill Parcells was saying that's the first time that they've gone to that 4 wide receivers, and he said that's why he brought Mark Ingram up. He said he felt like he wanted to go 4 wide receivers, and without a Mark Ingram, he didn't think he matched up well. He said with him, he thinks he can do some good business from this formation.
There it is again with Ingram, the man in motion. And touchdown to Stacy Robinson. Sims, who's been on target. Robinson's 2nd touchdown of the season, and it's 9-0 Giants. Parcells choosing to kick off and take the wind after he had won the toss and started to pay off. They paid off immediately.
Stacy Robinson is the inside guy. Now the Giants have 3 wide receivers. Stacy Robinson becomes the 3rd receiver in. He runs a post. Sims saw him all the way.
5:21 left in the 1st, and it's 10-0 Giants. 5:21 remaining 1st quarter, 10-0. The Giants scoring drive took them 8 plays. They went 62 yards. Took them, well, they kept the ball 3 minutes 50 seconds. McFadden with the ball set to kick off for the 3rd time. Sikahema just activated, back in the center for the Cardinals. He fumbled the opening kickoff. The Giants recovered and got a field goal out of that, and then just completed that touchdown drive in the direction of Vi Sikahema, right at the goal line. He is hit down at about the 22, stopped by Wayne Haddix.
Watch a touchdown again, Pat. Here's Stacy Robinson here. Now watch, the safety comes over to double on this side. So once Robinson gets by his guy, he has a wide open middle for Sims to throw it to. Watch the safety come over to this side. There goes Robinson right up the middle. No help. He gets a step. Sims sees it. Touchdown.
Sims may be hurt or maybe sore, but I haven't seen him much more accurate than he has been so far.
There's nothing to make you feel better than a 10-0 lead. It makes a lot of soreness go away.
Lomax incomplete, intended for J.T. Smith on 1st down. Pepper Johnson was the nearest Giant.
Let's watch Lawrence Taylor here. Pat coming on the rush, and you see every time they block him, that's Louis Sharp blocking him, 67. The Cardinals are always going to have an offensive lineman on him. Now watch Sharp. boom, you get right in front, square him up right now. That's the way you have to block Lawrence Taylor. You can't let him get a run at you.
2nd and 10. Draw play to stump Mitchell. Giants are there. Jim Burt, Leonard Marshall, and Gary Reason. Now they'll come with their nickel package.
And this is a big key. Remember in the first game when the Phoenix Cardinals beat them down there, this is a situation that they had trouble with. 3rd down conversion. Lomax was extremely successful, and this defensive package, this nickel package, was not successful. Look what they did, 71%, 12 out of 17 on 3rd down conversion. That's what killed the Giants.
They're going to double Roy Green on the right side of the Cardinal offense. They get it upfield for a 1st down. Ernie Jones, backup wide receiver. Beg your pardon, it was Jay Novacek.
Well, Jay Novacek is listed as a tight end, but on those nickel situations, he comes in and he's really a wide receiver, and they use 4 wide receivers with Jay Novacek being one of the wide receivers.
First down, Cardinals. J.T. Smith split wide to the left, Green to the right. Cardinals have the ball at their own 35. Awalt is the move man. Handoff is to Earl Farrell. That Giant defense swarms on him, led by Eric Dorsey.
Yeah, and Jim Burt's down there at the middle of the pile. I think Burt's going to get a lot of work today because I said the Cardinals' running game is basically right over the guards. It's right up the middle. I mean, they run either Stump Mitchell or Earl Farrell inside. They don't sweep much. They don't go off tackles. They work that middle. So if they're going to work that middle, they better get Jim Burt blocked better than they have thus far.
2nd down and 8. Flags from everywhere and bodies from everywhere.
You see Burt, he just exploded on that. He knocked Derek Kennard back into Neil Lomax, and the whole thing went backward.
Gene Barth.
Burt had to leave early.
Encroachment, 64 defense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's more than encroachment. That's one of those deals you call 911 for. Watch him. Boom, Kennard, boom, into Lomax, boom, the whole pile's down. That looks like something would happen on a bowling. Hey, he was ready. You talk about a guy who was down there in that stance ready to explode. Look, he's just saying, I'm sorry. That was just a premature explosion. Woo!
He must be afraid he's going to get fined.
You know, and that Kennard, I mean, he's a guy weighs about 290, 300 pounds.
You think he said, I'm sorry?
No, heck no. You never apologize. Unless you lie.
2nd down and 3. Green again in motion. Lomax knocked down from behind. Carl Banks circled around with help from Lawrence Taylor. And they take him down.
That's the thing. You know, we said that the Cardinals have to have the pass protection. And watch, when they don't get it here, Lomax isn't going to go anywhere. And when he sees good coverage downfield, a good pass rush, the only thing he has to do is to go down. That's what Gene Stallings is hoping that he'll do. If he gets it, if he can't do anything, boom, just take the ground.
That was Burt who rolled on him from behind. 3rd and 10 now. Here comes Taylor. Lomax comes out of the pocket. Throws it away. Pepper Johnson looking at it.
That was the situation the Giants were worried about, that 3rd and long, their nickel. But I tell you, they had great coverage, Pat. Didn't have a big pass rush. Lomax had to come outside, but he was looking downfield. There was no one open. I tell you, this Giant crowd, they understand and they really appreciate defense.
Ricky Sanders on a touchdown pass from Mark Rippon has put the Redskins ahead of the Eagles. That should delight a lot of fans of both of these teams. Horn gets off a good kick. McConkey in the other direction. No place to go. Giants will take over their own 27. A 47-yard punt that time by Horn. A return of 9 by McConkey. 10-0. Giants lead the Cardinals. Pat Summerall and John Madden. We're at Giants Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Giants lead the Phoenix Cardinals 10-0 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. We know who we are and where we are. Phoenix Cardinals, they used to be the St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis football Cardinals.
That's part of the reason they moved, I think. Joe Morris hit by Nico Noga, the middle linebacker.
There is a fired up guy, Nico Noga. You talk about a tough guy. I tell you, when he walks down the street, you tend to walk the other side of the street. And that's why they like him. I think that's why he's the starting middle linebacker on this team, is because he's so tough against the run. You know, he's going to be up there on that line of scrimmage, and if you're going to run, he's going to be around it somewhere.
And you better be tough if you got a haircut with hair running down the middle of your back. Sims, incomplete. Sims hit by Freddie Joe Nunn, but okay.
I tell you again, that was one of those things that there was no one open. You'll see here, here's a pass rush. Sims was waiting. There was no one open, so he just threw the ball away. He doesn't want to take too many of those hits. Look at that. He looked like he sat on a coffee cup or something before the game.
3rd and 11. George Adams back with Sims. To Stacy Robinson again. Same pattern that they used for the touchdown. Roland Mitchell knocked him out of bounds, but he picked up 25.
Okay, this is more of a crossing pattern here. Robinson is going to start up, and then he's going to come across the field. All the way across underneath. They go deep with Ingram, get him to clean out, and then Robinson comes underneath and across. I think Sims felt that or watched that one all the way.
Giants move into Cardinal territory again with Morris heading them to about the 46 in a gain of 2. McDonald and Noga.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, this Giant offensive line in this first quarter has played very well. And I think, you know, that's the thing. I mean, they've had all these different combinations. They have Big Elliott starting at left tackle, Riesenberg, 2 bad ankles at right tackle, Eric Moore, a rookie at right guard. But so far, they've done a good job, both run and pass protection.
2nd and 8. Sims going to work again. As Lionel Manuel out of bounds. Carl Carter was the cover man, but a gain of 9.
Hey, Sims looks like a surgeon today.
He really does.
There was no doubt he practiced all week. Bill Parcells didn't want to say early that Sims would play because he didn't know how he would be the next day. And then Phil Sims couldn't wait. He was telling the press, I'm okay. I'm going to play. I'm going.
Sims 7 out of 9 for 107 yards. And a touchdown pass to Robinson.
He might never take those gloves off.
Back to throw it again. Flag on the play as Freddie Joe Nunn hit Sims from behind just as he let go, but it was called an attempted pass, but a holding penalty, I'm sure.
That is a holding penalty of the Giants, and I think that was Sims's real test, their first real test for that right shoulder.
Holding, number 60 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Eric Moore, right guard, whom John mentioned a moment ago, doing a good job, but caught for holding. that time. I guess he's not doing a good job.
Well, I'll tell you, when you have a quarterback who's banged up, who missed the last week, who is so important to this team, and if you look at this offense, 127 yards in the first quarter is really triggered by him. I think if it comes down to should I let him take a sack or should I hold, I'd choose holding all the time.
First down and 20. Sims gives to Morris. Hit. He tried to pick his way by E.J. Jr. No gain.
I think Phil Simms was going over there, and he'd like to have that 4 wide receivers on second down and be able to take 2 shots with it rather than just take it on first down. I'm surprised they take a timeout here. Well, it's 7 seconds, and he probably, maybe it's a smart thing, maybe it's not a surprise, because they're going with the wind now. And I bet he wants to take a timeout, trying to talk the coaching staff into going 4 wide receivers to take 1 more shot at passing with the wind.
That has to be what it is, because there didn't appear to be any confusion. That wind is substantial, but it's difficult to tell down on that field which direction. Look atop the goalpost at those ribbons up there, not even moving on either end.
Well, you know, it's a wind that changes all the time and swirls, and it goes one way on one side and another way on the other side. And it doesn't look like Phil Simms. He may have talked him into a passing play, but he didn't talk him into 4 wide receiver formation.
See if the Cardinals figure the same thing. They come with a blitz. Here they come. Incomplete. Stephen Baker, the intended target. Clock stopped with 3 seconds left now in the first quarter. They'll get 1 more play with the win. There was a flag on the play, however.
Well, the Cardinals knew what the Giants were going to do because they put in their nickel package and blitzed them.
65 offense, illegal use of the hands, a jam to the face, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Bart Oates is number 65.
Well, that's part of pass protection. You know, you have to get your hands up. You have to get them on that defensive guy. You want to keep them away. Sometimes, I'm not making an excuse for Oates. I would, you know, if I were doing it, this would be my excuse. Sometimes you take that shot, boom, and you go to the shoulder pads, it just slides right up to the head.
Brings up the 2nd and 30. And a handoff to Morris. He's hit after a gain of 1. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Giants 10, the Cardinals nothing. Back at Giants Stadium, where at the end of a quarter, the Giants lead the Cardinals 10-0. Giants had 6 first downs in the first quarter. Phoenix had just 1. It was the passing yards that led to this lead, passing by Phil Simms. Giants had 107 yards in the first quarter. 3rd and very long. Simms chased out of the pocket, goes down, the pass incomplete. Tim McDonald was the nearest Cardinal. Freddie Joe Nunn was chasing Simms. There's the quarterback comparison. Lomax and Simms both playing hurt. But Simms had the better of it in the first quarter without question.
Well, you know, Simms had that win, so it's going to be interesting to see how much effect that was in the win and see now that the wind is reversing or they're reversing directions on the field if those statistics of the quarterbacks are going to change.
Maury Buford is number 8, the Giant punter. Sikahema back for the Cardinals, gets away from 1 man. Out of bounds at about the 33. Redskins leading the Eagles in the second quarter 7-3. Cincinnati scored a touchdown, missed the extra point. They lead San Diego. Cleveland over Dallas in Cleveland. Buffalo and Tampa Bay scoreless. Indianapolis, Miami tied now in the second. New England leading Seattle 6-0. 49ers and Atlanta 0-0 in the second. A lot of big games today around the NFL. First and 10 Cardinals at their own 33. And Lomax is going to test that wind in a hurry. Roy Green, he had him incomplete. Right through Green's hands.
There is a sight that you aren't going to see much, and that's Roy Green dropping a pass. I think this guy right now is one of the best receivers in all football. The guy can run. He has great moves. He's a bright guy. Remember, he was a defensive back, so he understands coverage. He's very studious, has the ability to make moves, to get open, to go deep. He doesn't drop many like that last one.
Second and 10, the Cardinals put it up in Green. Had maybe a step. Harry Williams was the man who covered him. Harry Williams had a tough time with him in the first meeting between these two teams, but he was in good shape then.
Now what they did is they put Perry Williams on Roy Green wherever he went, and Roy Green caught 9 passes against him. Green said he was surprised that Perry Williams played on him and that the Giants played man-to-man all the time, because as everyone knows, the Giants are a zone defensive coverage, a loose zone. And in the first time they played a man-to-man and put Perry Williams on Roy Green, as I said, he catches 9 balls.
Third and 10, Green goes in motion this time. Flag on the play. Lomax will get a free one. Haddix knocked it down. Intended for Ernie Jones.
Well, that was Leonard Marshall. He jumped offside. He moves from right defensive end on passing situations now to left defensive end. Watch him. He's up here in that spot, and you're going to see that he's going to take a jump there before the ball snaps. See big Leonard starts getting ready. Go. Boom. He gets in that neutral zone. That's a new wrinkle in the Giant defense now, where they put Leonard Marshall at the left end. Eric Howard is the nose tackle. So they only have 2 defensive linemen, and Lawrence Taylor becomes the third.
Who will rush? Outside, J.T. Smith. And he has enough for a first down. Harry Williams on the coverage. Talk about a guy who can get open. He can get it done.
You know, if you look at the wide receivers as a group, we see that the best in football is this group we're watching here, J.T. Smith and Roy Green. They've caught 128 passes, more than anyone else in the league. And then that 1,822 is more yards than anyone in the league.
First down, Phoenix. Their own 45. Awolf moves over to the left side. Handoff is to Stump Mitchell. And he squirms for 2 yards. Stopped by Gary Reasons. Reasons has replaced Harry Carson in the Giant defensive linebacker setup, and he's played well.
I'll tell you, Jim Burt does a good job here, Pat. Watch him here. Boom, he comes in here, plays here, and holds this thing so that there's no hole. Watch him here. The center blocks away. You see Pete comes down on him, but he holds that hole. Holds that hole. Doesn't give him any movement in there. They're trying to block him different ways, but he's holding his area.
Second and 8. Lomax has it picked off. Sheldon White gets the interception. Louis Sharp made the stop. Novacek was the intended receiver.
Sheldon White is the rookie that's starting in the place of Mark Collins. A guy that Bill Parcells says, I'm not worried about this guy. He's a good defensive back. He's a bright guy. You see, he gets his bump. Here's that loose zone that I was talking about. He gets a bump, then he has a short area, drops back, reads the quarterback, comes up with the interception.
10-0, and the Giants have the ball. To summarize, the Giants won the toss, took the wind, and really took advantage of it. Look at the passing yards and the difference 107 for the Giants, just 3 for Phoenix. Sheldon White just came up with an interception, and it's Giants 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 47. Flag on the play as Morris scoots to the outside, gets good yardage. Lester Lyles finally stopped him. Gain 9, Morris.
Hey, the guy who did that was Maurice Carthon blocking on E.J. Jr. The Cardinals were offsides. They get a jump on it.
Number 65, offside, penalty refused, 2nd down.
Galloway was the guy that jumped offsides the end, but Carthon got a block on the outside linebacker, E.J. Jr. And that was the block that sprung Morris to the outside. You end up 2nd and 2, you don't have to take the penalty.
They're at the 39. Here's Morris again. Hit. Maybe he got a 1st down. It's going to be close. Ricky Hundley made the stop.
Hey, you know, as you were talking about how the Giants won the toss, took the win, that's a good decision if you get the points. If you don't get the points, then it's no good, because then you're looking at no points and the other team having to win. But the thing Bill Parcells did, I think, was a good
72
start.
eligible for New York. 72 is eligible.
I think was a good start, and then getting to 10 points is the thing that becomes the most important thing.
3rd and inches. Doug Riesenberg, number 72, lined up as the tight end on the left. That's Vaughn in motion, and Morris. Enough for a 1st. Picked up 3 straight ahead.
He just ran that dive play right in behind Bill Ard and Bart Oates. That just get us a little movement in here. Watch it, it's going to be right there to the left side, right in behind Ard, right between Ard and Oates. So all he needed was a little crack. There wasn't a big crack in there, but there was enough to get the 1st down.
1st down, Giants at the Phoenix 35. Adams behind Carthon this time. That usually means Matt. It means draw play to Adams this time. And the Cardinals had it figured. Lost a yard maybe. McDonald and Lyles, the 2 safety men, came up.
That was the area that, again, that Gene Stallings says, you know, we lose 2 free safeties and people don't think that's much, but in any defense, that's a big thing, because the free safety is kind of the quarterback of the defensive coverage. So when you lose a guy who kind of holds things together and makes adjustments in addition to the talent of the player.
2nd down. Adams, the lone setback. Here comes Junior on a blitz, and he hits him. And he had to hurry and couldn't get much on it. Intended for Baker.
Well, what the Cardinals do, and Sims is upset because it wasn't only E.J. Jr. coming in the blitz, it was also the free safety. So when you see the free safety come, watch here, and when you see him coming to blitz, that means that you have everything open there. Because you know 2 things now. When that safety blitzes, 1, I got man-to-man, and 2, they have no help in this center. So if I can get any pass completed, I can get a big play out of it.
Here's that 4 wide receiver package the Giants have again on 3rd and 11. Sim, intended for Stacy Robinson, just missed him. Reggie Phillips was the cover man, and he had a couple of steps on Phillips, and Sims upset with himself.
Yeah, he is, because he had Robinson again. It was that same pattern, and he completed earlier where they clear out to one side, and then Robinson comes on a crossing pattern all the way across the field. As you said, Sims saw him all the way, and Robinson was open all the way.
Buford back to punt for the Giants. McDonald is deep for the Cardinals. The Giants will be able to down this one inside the 10. Bart Oates, the man who snapped it, downed it. Flag on the play. See what the penalty is about.
Well, it was one that came out late, Pat, as the players were walking off the field, the flag came out. So it has to be some form of dead ball. It didn't happen on the play, I'm sure of that.
The Cardinal offense and the Giant defense are on the field. So we'll wait. Stop the clock, please.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, number 26 of the receiving team after the ball was dead. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Penalty called against Lester Lyles. I didn't see it happen. But they move it halfway back to the goal line with 10:25 left in the first half, and the Giants leading 10-0. As we get down to the last 2 weeks of the regular season, NFL on Saturday, the next 2 Saturdays, in fact. Philadelphia Eagles at Phoenix. First down, Cardinals at their own 5. Lomax back in the end zone. Gets it outside to stump Mitchell. Picked up only a couple. Lawrence Taylor hammered him out of bounds.
Wasn't Lawrence Taylor great last Sunday night against the New Orleans Saints? You talk about a guy who gutted it up. He has a torn pectoral muscle, and you know, he's playing with that thing, and he was in so much pain on the sidelines that the players were telling us that tears were coming out of his eyes. He had to put that brace on, and he just kept going and going and coming up with big plays all night. I think as close as you can, he single-handedly won that game.
2nd and 9. Flag on the play. Mitchell got outside the 10. It was a pickup of 11. It would be enough for a first down if Pepper Johnson made the stop. Penalty marker on the play.
Illegal motion, number 84 offense. 5-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal line, still 2nd down.
J.T. Smith moving in the wrong direction.
Usually when they get that is when a receiver is either in motion and he's coming towards the line of scrimmage. You can go parallel, but you can't go towards the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 12. Cardinals backed up to their own 4-yard line. Lomax out of his own end zone. Flag on the play, flag in the end zone, and that could be a safety. Lomax flipped it up to Farrell. Holding. If the holding's in the end zone, it'll be a safety.
That has to be a safety. Gene Barth is going to say that it wasn't in the end zone, though. Because remember, if you do have the penalty in the end zone, that's a safety. Carl Banks come awfully close to tackling Lomax for the safety. Lomax threw the ball underhanded. Watch, he's in the end zone now. Now, I would think that the holding has to be there. The holding has to be in the end zone. How can he say it wasn't? He threw the flag at the guy in the end zone.
Holding, 67 offense, penalty refused, 3rd down.
Holding call against Sharp. The flag was thrown in the end zone. All the blockers are in the end zone.
Well, let's watch it again. Now we know it's Sharp, it's a left tackle. And if he's holding, it's right there. Right there, he's in the end zone, 67, holding in the end zone. And the flag comes out. I don't understand that one. Yeah, you hold in the end zone, you get caught, it's a safety.
Here's Lomax again out of the end zone. Intended for Novacek, incomplete. Perry Williams right with Novacek.
Well, I think the Cardinals dodged a bullet on that one because they could have had 2 points against them. But this is a tough place to punt from. And the good news is that the Cardinals have the win. But the bad news is that they're backed up like this. And they're going to get a big rush, I would expect.
Horn will punt it to McConkey. Line drive punt that McConkey handles at his own 44-yard line. Heath Myers has just scored for the Eagles, and they go ahead of Washington 10-7 in the second. Giants 10-0 over the Cardinals. 10-0 Giants over Cardinals. John? Let's have another look at that holding call.
Well, here was a big play, Pat. You watch, here's Sharp here, and he's going to be holding here. Now, what they have to say that he wasn't holding in the end zone. But if you look, he's in the end zone, he's holding. The referee throws the flag now. They said that the holding started outside before they got to the end zone.
Here's Joe Morris. And Morris scampers down to about the 10.5-yard line, finally chased out by E.J. Jr. after a gain of 28.
Great move by Joe Morris. Watch, he's going to start a dive to the left side. They don't even block the outside guy. And now he just bounces it to the outside. Elliott, the left tackle, blocked down. So they were going to option off the end. The end comes down. They don't block him. Joe Morris just outruns him to the outside.
Joe Morris' longest run of the season, 28 yards. Sanders gives it to him again. Morris inside the 10 to about the 8. Stopped by Lyles after a pickup of 3. If the Giants win today and then win against Kansas City and then against the Jets, they'll have a wild card spot at least.
And if Philadelphia were to lose to the Redskins today, then it could be back in their hands. You see, in any tiebreaker, they can't compete with the Eagles because the Eagles beat them twice.
It'll be 2nd and 8. Shoulder for a second. Is covered by Carl Carter.
I think the offense of the Giants looks as good today as they have all season. I mean, this is as sharp here. Here the ball goes out of Manuel's hand, but Phil Simms is as sharp today as he's been in a long time. The offensive line is doing as good a job as they've done in a long time. Joe Morris kind of looks like he's running like his old self, and if they can get those things back, they may really be a playoff contending team.
3rd and 8. Simms goes back into the spread. 4 wide receivers again for the Giants. Simms has time. Robinson's 2nd touchdown catch of the day. Reggie Phillips tackled Robinson. Put in the end zone.
That was that same pattern, Pat. And he got the first touchdown, except this time he was on the opposite side. 4 wide receivers, motion to his side, 3 wide receivers on that side, and they threw the post to Stacy Robinson.
And
Bill Simms is about as hot as you can get.
Perfect strike from Simms.
Throw because the safety's in there too. It ends up where he has to throw it between those 2 defenders.
Good throw and a good catch, and it's 17-0 Giants. The Giants scoring drive, 4 plays, 38 yards. Simms to Robinson. The touchdown, and the second time today that combination is hit. McFadden to kick it off. Kahima back in the middle. McFadden keeps it on the ground. This is Earl Farrell. Farrell gets it out to about the 38. The Cardinals will operate from there. Kenny Hill made the stop. Return of 11. Touchdown.
Let's watch a touchdown again. Here's Robinson this time. Now again, he's going to be man-to-man here. The difference is this time the safety waits for him. So Simms has to throw it in here on this side of this guy and before the safety gets there. See, Robinson's the third guy in. Watch him run the post there. And watch the safety coming over. See, so Sims has to sandwich that thing into Robinson, and that's what made it a good throw.
He said he wasn't sure how hard he could throw it, but he had to throw that one hard. Here's Victor. To the right side. Picked up a few, stopped by Pepper Johnson. Got 5, in fact, Mitchell did.
I think if the Giants come on and have a good ending to this year, a lot of it has to go to last Sunday night, starting there against the New Orleans Saints and that heroic effort that the banged-up defense played in that game. And the offense playing without Phil Simms and playing with Hostetler at quarterback, then they take him out, then they play with Rutledge, couldn't get much going, but coming out of that one with a victory.
Farrell takes the ball on second down. Picked up 4 shy of a first down. He was stopped by Carl Banks and Eric Dorsey.
Well, you look at that Cardinal offensive line, you're talking about some big guys out there. I mean, look at that thing. They take that huddle goes about 10 yards wide. Usually, you know, a huddle's about 5 yards, but those guys, they got guys in there with some combinations underneath those jerseys.
A couple of those guys tried to get on your bus to look at it yesterday and couldn't get through the door.
And it tilted. The bus was kind of standing on its side when they tried to get in.
31. Lomax and a flag on the play. Lomax has enough for the first down to Novacek. But let's see what the penalty might be. Gain of 6. That's expensive.
Illegal motion. Number 31 started to move while the man was in motion. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay the third down.
Let's watch Jim Bird here, Pat. He's been having trouble lately with an ankle. You see him fire into Kennard. He just takes Kennard, a 300-pound guy, and pushes him right back into Lomax. Then Todd Pete, 64, comes over and said, hey, we had enough of that. You talk about the strength of Jim Bird, being able to get underneath a guy like Kennard and get him going backwards like that.
Third down and 6. This time Lomax goes back deep. Giants showing blitz by Kennard, and then he backs out. Caught by Ernie Jones. And the Cardinals get deep in Giant territory for the first time. Jones, a gain of 46.
Ernie Jones is a rookie who the Cardinals really like. In fact, his nickname is Indiana Jones. And he comes in on that 4 wide receivers, and then you put a J.T. Smith and a Roy Green and an Ernie Jones along with a Jay Novacek. They have some players out there that are real threats, and I'm surprised that it took the Cardinals that long to get to that type of play.
This time they put J.T. Smith wide right and Roy Green wide left. First Cardinals, the Giant 13. A grounder. Lomax threw to nobody. Pressured by Lawrence Taylor, and Lomax had a tough time getting up.
Hey, that's the thing. That's a big thing that they were watching. And he gets some pressure from the right side. Lawrence Taylor, you see him up on top? He's coming right around Tootie Robbins here. See him, and he just goes in. In fact, he did a pirouette, or whatever you call that thing, Taylor did, and knocked his sock right off. You see, he did a spinner, and his left sock went right off his leg. I saw it.
Socks are back, and so is Lomax. Green is the move man. On a draw play to Farrell. And Farrell gets down to about the 4-yard line, mostly on his own for a gain of 9. Stopped finally by Kennard.
Last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, in this same place on the field, the Cardinals ran that same play to Farrell, and he ran for a touchdown with it. But Farrell's a strong guy. I mean, if you're going to get him down in that middle, you better get a whole bunch of guys on him.
Look at this, Earl Farrell. He gained 10 pounds since yesterday.
He's a big old guy, and Neil Lomax was saying probably on our team, the most underrated guy is Earl Farrell.
Farrell and Wolfley are the two backs. They're in short. They give this to Farrell. Bounces outside, hit by Kennard, and a touchdown. Superb effort by Earl Farrell.
That was some play. He bounced in there on that right side. There was no hole, and the defense just bounced him out. And in bouncing him out, he just turned and went outside. Watch him. He's going to start in his right side into the lead. Watch Taylor hit that hole, knock Farrell to the outside. He said, okay, I'll take it. And he runs over Terry Kennard for the touchdown.
So the Cardinals get on the scoreboard. Del Greco will try the extra point with Cliff Stout holding, the backup quarterback. 4:21 left to play in the first half. Stout just did get it down before Del Greco kicked it. He almost kicked that one out of the air.
He had the wind.
Take advantage. Doubleheader weekend here on CBS next week. Detroit will be at Chicago. Of course, it begins at 12:30 with the NFL today. Minnesota at Green Bay. Dallas at Washington. Tampa Bay visits New England. And then at 4 o'clock, we'll be in San Francisco. The Saints and the 49ers. And that'll be another big one next week.
Hey, that will be. I'm going to get a head start on it. In fact, we laid right after this game on old Highway 80. But let's watch that touchdown again, and we'll see Lawrence Taylor is really going to hit the hole. Watch it, boom, right there. Now, Farrell, the thing he does, he keeps his shoulders square and his feet moving. So when his feet are moving, then he has the ability to push off that left foot, bounce it to the outside, and still get the touchdown.
I made the trip from New York to Detroit to Chicago with you, but I'm going to miss this one.
Well, I'll tell you, that trip is an all-day sucker when you go across this country on Highway 80. We leave this afternoon, and we'll get there Tuesday night.
You better get more than one sucker.
Better get a couple of turkeys.
Guggemos fields the kickoff by Del Greco and downs it in the end zone. Still 10-7, about 90 miles down the road in Philadelphia. Cincinnati over San Diego. And Cleveland has retaken the lead over Dallas. Tampa Bay over Buffalo 3-0 in the second, and Indianapolis 21-7 down in Miami. San Francisco has scored on Atlanta. Guess what? Montana to Rice. That's how they got the touchdown.
Hey, right now you talk about those playoffs and getting ready for the playoffs. San Francisco looks like they're one of the teams that are getting ready, don't they?
They really do, coming down the stretch. Of course, they play the Rams the final week. And Minnesota next week. No gain left side, Maurice Gartham. Glasby made the stop with a lot of help.
Well, it's interesting here that the Giants really took off in that first quarter with the win. Now they're going into the wind, and you would think that if you really believe in that decision you made, then when you go into the wind, you're going to be more conservative until you get good field position.
If the Cardinals can hold here, the Giants will be forced to punt into the wind, and the Cardinals have all three of their timeouts remaining. Sims back to throw it. And it's high. That's the pass we were watching him throw yesterday in practice, his individual practice. And that's the toughest one, I guess.
I think, I just thought of that same thing. And when he came out here, the whole team went home yesterday after meetings. They didn't practice. And Sims came out here, and the one throw that he worked on was that one. Because he said that the toughest thing he has to do is throw the ball hard. And for a right-handed quarterback, the hardest you have to throw it is when you rotate and throw an out to your left. And it looked like that one got away from him.
A couple like that to that side have gotten away from him. Ingram is the move man, and let's see if they go back to Robinson again. Incomplete. They went to Baker instead. Cedric Mack, the corner covering. Working on E.J. Jr. over on the sideline. Maury Buford back to punt. Been a rough day for him, but he's had an outstanding year. Sikahema back. Close to midfield, and the Cardinals take over in pretty good shape. George Adams knocked him out of bounds.
You know, that was the guy that Bill Parcells was worried about more than anything, was Sikahema. You know, everyone was talking about Lomax will play, Lomax won't play, and he said, yeah, but don't forget about this guy. This guy has really been a thorn in our side. I mean, if you look what his career against the Giants, he averages 18 yards on a punt return. On a punt return, anything over 5 or 10 is a good average.
He's from Tonga. Played high school football in Arizona, went to BYU. Lomax back to throw it. Gets it outside to Farrell. He's alone. Flag on the play. Back by Lomax. They got 15 yards. But it's holding against Phoenix.
You know, it's an interesting thing. A good pass rusher like a Lawrence Taylor not only gets a lot of sacks, leads the league in sacks, but will always draw penalties.
Holding, 64 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Todd Pete.
Well, Todd Pete is the inside guy. He's 64 right here. He's the left guard. Now, Louis Sharp is the guy who's blocking Taylor. Todd Pete is there starting out on Leonard Marshall. Marshall just runs right over him.
First and 20. Outside Mitchell. Taken down quickly by Perry Williams. 2 yards, and that's all.
I don't know if Todd Pete really held Leonard Marshall or if he was just so embarrassed by the thing, he said, what the heck, I'll take a hold when a guy runs over you like that. You talk about a guy who fills out his pants. That number 64 does a nice job. Guarantee you buy those in a chunky.
It's hard to keep it in.
A heavy guy can never keep a shirt tail in.
Right. Here's Lomax. Back to throw. Gets it upfield to Roy Green. Right at midfield. Perry Williams again, the tackler, a gain of 9.
Yeah, it was interesting. The last time these two teams played, Roy Green caught 9 passes. That's the first one he's caught today. And I would bet that at halftime, they're going to go in there and talk about how they can get the ball to Roy Green in his second half.
Lomax over to the sideline to talk with the offensive crew for the Cardinals. 2-minute warning. 17-7, the Giants by 10. At Giants Stadium with 2 minutes left in the first half, 17-7 Giants over the Phoenix Cardinals. Down in Philadelphia, the Eagles have scored again. Cunningham to Byers. They missed the extra point, however. Lead 16-7. 2 crucial games in the NFC East. 3rd and 9. Cardinals have all 3 of their timeouts left, but right now they need first down. 3-man front, Giants. Lomax, incomplete, intended for J.T. Smith, who almost had his head taken away by Tom Flynn.
That's the one thing that the Giants have done a very good job of against Lomax over the years, and they feel that they can frustrate him. They've always felt that. I remember for years when they were at the Cardinals in St. Louis that if they just played a zone defense, a soft zone, a deep zone, and don't give him any of the big passes, make him work hard, that he couldn't be that patient all day.
4th down, Horn back to punt. McConkey standing back at the 10. Snap almost got away from him, but he got off a good kick, and McConkey signals for a fair catch. Bounces over his head and into the end zone, and the Giants will operate from the 20. You think that Wind doesn't make a difference. In the first quarter, Phil Simms was 7 out of 9 for 107 yards. In the second quarter, 1 out of 7 for 9 yards. That one was for a touchdown, however. Lomax's first quarter, 1 out of 3 for 10 yards. And in the second quarter, 6 of 11 for 68. So Parcells' decision after he won the toss and chose to kick off looks better and better.
It'll be interesting to see what Phoenix does with the same decision in the second half.
Morris went straight ahead, looked like nothing was there, and he got 6 on first down.
I think Morris is kind of feeling a little better today about running. I know that Bill Parcells said on a windy day maybe we'll use a bigger runner, maybe use O.J. Anderson more. We haven't seen Anderson yet, and I think if Morris keeps running like he has thus far, we're not going to see Anderson.
You know what I think about that, John? Of course, he played collegiately at Syracuse, and I think he's a much better runner with a lot more stamina when the weather starts to get cold.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. There are some guys that are better in warmer weather. For example, Roger Craig of the 49ers, I've always felt was much better in warmer weather. I mean, he gets warmed up, gets cranked up, those knees get higher. Conversely, Morris, I think the warmer the weather, the more he's bothered by it. I mean, he seems to get cramps and tired and, you know, heat, what is that, heat frustration or whatever they have. There's Otis Anderson underneath that blanket. He doesn't look like he's going to be doing much going today.
Here's Morris again. First down, Giants. David Galloway stopped him from the backside, but a pickup of 5. And there's not much now the Cardinals can do about it. They used their second timeout, however. Don't forget, coming up at the half, we'll be going back to New York, the studio, for all the scores and highlights with Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, and Dick Butkus, and the Invisible Man.
Yeah, I think Bill Parcells has done an outstanding job with this Giant team this year and just kind of keeping things afloat. I mean, he's had a lot of problems, you know, a lot of injury problems. Everyone has that, but being able to stay in there, you lose your quarterback and you use a couple of backup guys. I thought he made a lot of good moves last week against the Saints and in stealing a game down there. And sometimes, you know, it's easy to complain, well, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And then sometimes you just have to sit and look and say, hey, look what they have done.
First and 10. Will throw it to Morris. DJ Jr. on the stop. Don't forget the NFL on CBS next Saturday as well as Sunday. Cardinals will be back home to face the Philadelphia Eagles, who are beating Washington at the moment. That's at 3:30 Eastern Time. Timeout Phoenix, their last one.
And I think to make that game next Saturday important, I think that the Cardinals have to take care of some business here in this game today in this second half.
As you were pointing out before, it'll be interesting to see what the Cardinals do, because they'll have the choice of whether they take the wind or the ball at the beginning of the second half.
And see, if they take the win, then you better win it in the third quarter, because if you take the win in the third quarter and you don't win it there, then the other team is going to have the win in the fourth quarter.
On second down, again is to Carthon. To about the 39, 2 yards shy of a first down. Stopped by Freddie Joe Nunn over on the sideline. The Giant captain with the Giant cap, Harry Carson. 3rd and 1. Carson had arthroscopic surgery a couple of weeks ago, so he is going to miss the rest of the regular season.
Well, and he's kind of made up with the Giants and with Bill Parcells, and they're hoping that they can get into the playoffs and get Harry Carson back.
Morris Stopped by Clasby, but strong enough for a first down, and that should be the end of the first half with the Giants leading 17-7. Timeout Giants now.
I think what they did is they got the first down, Pat. They were trying to run it out. Then Phil Simms said, what the heck? The fans are booing. They wanted them to go for it. They got the first down. Now I think Phil Simms is trying to talk Bill Parcells into taking a shot. You know what he's probably asking for? Again, he's probably asking for that 4-wide receiver formation.
I don't think he's going to get it.
I don't know.
I see Ingram taking off his jersey.
I think someone talked someone into doing something.
They're the two wideouts.
Yep, he's getting a form of a passing formation.
He gets Bavaro, who of course is a tight end. He gets Adams, who's the pass receiving back. He gets Ingram and Manuel to the right. Simms felt it from behind. He was chased by Randy Hundley. Ken Harvey, beg your pardon. And he stays down a moment.
I'll tell you, he knew that one was coming too, and he was smart, but it didn't look like he really got away from it like he wanted to. Harvey was coming from his backside, and Simms knew that he was coming. He probably wishes they had just run the clock out like they were going to. But watch Simms here. 56, Harvey's coming. Simms knows it right there. Someone yelled, "Look out!" Or maybe he just went down. I mean, he looked like something hit him, and boom, he went down before Harvey got there. I don't know that he didn't twist or hurt his knee before Harvey even got there.
He's limping noticeably, headed for the locker room. That might turn out to be a very costly decision, although knowing Phil Simms, he'll be back. They had to talk that man, Bill Parcells, into making that decision. And they'll have a tough time doing it again. That then is the end of the first half with the score: the Giants 17, the Cardinals 7.
NFC East, and one thing about Phil Simms, he always shows great courage. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes, and the Giants are dominating the Cardinals right now, 17-7. Stiff breeze in the Meadowlands. Giants win to flip. They say, "We want the win." Cardinals moving on the opening kickoff. They cough it up, and this set up a giant field goal on the recovery by Perry Williams. And what about Simms and Stacy Robinson today, Irv?
Well, there's a lot of concern about Simms' arm because he hurt his shoulder a few weeks ago. Here he hits a strike. Stacy Robinson, touchdown pass number 1.
They come back and do it all over again. And then, Dick, what about that neat run by Earl Farrell?
Well, you know, he's been really running tough, and he hits the center of the Giant line, so what the hey? He bounces out and goes in for the 3 or 4 yard score.
And as a result, Cardinals have got a chance in the second half. Meanwhile, Philadelphia and Washington went to the half just seconds ago, 16-7. The Eagles missing a field goal with time running out, so they'll sit on that lead. Mark Rippon to Ricky Sanders here.
Somebody in the Eagles secondary dropped Sanders. Rippon works himself free here. He finds Sanders all alone in the end zone for an easy touchdown.
Now, this interception, Dick, by Seth Joyner. Should they have given him the touchdown, or did he step out?
I think he stepped out, but he's playing a little cat and mouse here, and well, he didn't have to play cat and mouse. The guy threw it right to him. He makes a neat run down the sideline. Just a linebacker for you. What the heck?
Well, that just slowed him up a little bit after they turned it back to the Eagles, and then it was Byers.
Keith Byers blasting off his right tackle, having a good first half. That's a two-yard touchdown run there, but they've shown great tenacity.
One thing he could do at Ohio State was catch the ball, and look at that for a touchdown. And right now, the Eagles are leading 16-7, and again, they've gone at the half. Cincinnati, San Diego, 2 more touchdowns by Ickey Woods, and give him 15 for the season. Dallas and Cleveland, the Cowboys bounce ahead of the Browns here. 14-10 is the count in that game. How about this pass to Langhorne?
Well, I tell you, it's really good time. It's a quick post, Brent. Usually a player running against a blitz, finding an inside receiver quickly, and they do that right here. As he picks up the ball around the 20-yard line, so Reggie Langhorne simply outruns the rest of that Cowboy secondary for a 73-yard touchdown.
Dick, did you call pull or collect?
I got him back. He's throwing on the right foot, the back foot, right to Folsom here for a nice little completion and 6.
Possible upset in that one. Buffalo and Tampa Bay. Vinny not coughing up the interception today. Bootleg for a touchdown in that game. Indianapolis all over Miami. Huge afternoon so far for Eric Dickerson, up at 100 yards, and he scored a touchdown. Seattle and New England. They start the second half. The Seahawks had only 1 first down, but they marched down, scored their first touchdown. They lead Doug Flutie and the Patriots by a point. San Fran and Atlanta right now. Montana to Rice. That was the touchdown on the board after they exchanged blocked field goals early.
Atlanta's been very tough this first half, but Montana rolling out of the pocket finds Jerry Rice in the end zone, but the Falcons were playing pretty tough defense.
And speaking of tough defense and a good game, take a look at this score. Detroit all over Green Bay. What about Wayne Fonts, Dick?
Well, you know, he was coaching the defense before he became head coach, and, you know, he's got them sparked up. And that's what's got me is the offense, because the Green Bay Packers defense was playing pretty well, I mean, coming up for this game. And now he's got, looks like the offense, defense playing well for him. Looks like he might be back next year.
Got to sell some tickets. Bring in Mouse Davis.
That's
it. On a shoot. We'll continue with the NFL Today after these messages from your local stations. Welcome back to our New York studio. You know, about this time of year, we start looking not only at the playoff picture, but some of those individual achievements. You know, for example, the leading passers, ground gainers, but we rarely, if ever, mention offensive linemen. And as Dick Butkus tells us, the players most taken for granted are the centers, whose job is anything but a snap.
This is the view we usually have of the big men who play center, except on those occasions when they mess up a play. These unknown warriors have been part of football since the game began, but only a very few have ever gained recognition. Dwight Stevenson was one. Mike Webster was another. And perhaps the most famous of all, Jim Otto. But among active players, the one who most deserves to be the center of attention is Ray Donaldson of the Colts.
Ray stood right next to me, and he introduced himself. He said, "I'm Ray Donaldson." He said, "Aren't you Eric Dixon?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "I play for the Indianapolis Colts." He said, "I'm the center." I was like, "Really?" I didn't know who he was.
Okay, baby, okay. I didn't want to play center. I still don't like it. As time went on, I got more and more acquainted with it, and then I started to accept it a little bit better, but I think I still would rather have been a linebacker.
Everyone thinks that anyone can walk in and become an offensive center. I found out that is not the case. It is extremely difficult to teach a guy to become a center.
The center is a natural leadership position. Everything sort of starts from the center, from the play to all the calls kind of radiate outwards. And so just his control and his recognition of the defenses is probably the most valuable thing, because you got to know who to block before the play begins.
You ready? Let's get it in there. Let's get it in there.
A good center controls the huddle, controls the line of scrimmage. The play doesn't start without him. So he's got to snap the ball. And in a position where you have to snap the ball, you got a guy right on your head, 6 inches away. I mean, you can smell his breath. And then you need to move to your right or left or blow him off the ball.
The satisfaction that we get from playing the position is when we make that block that's going to spring the running back, you know, for 5, 6, 7 yards, maybe even a touchdown.
In getting recognition as a center, you have to play on a group that's rushing the ball well or protecting the passer well, and then people start to single you out and notice, notice what your contributions are to that particular unit.
Donaldson has achieved all-pro status, but is still largely unknown. So would he encourage others to follow him into the trenches of neglect?
I'll tell them to go think that over, because there's no glamour in playing the center position. And people, contrary to what a lot of people say, everybody wants some attention. I do. I'm no different. And if that's what the kid wants to do and really means it, then go ahead. Give it your best shot.
Yes, sir, buddy. For the play, man. Good interception. Good interception.
Dick, you were also a center at Illinois. Did the Bears ever think about using you both ways?
Well, they used me on snaps, punts, and extra points, field goals, stuff like that. But Dick Evey, you know, he stepped on my finger here and he broke my little finger. So I got out of it because, you know, the guys are starting to crack me in the head when I was snapping with my head down. Forget it.
Your all-time center is?
The best I've ever seen. Chuck Bednarik, number 60 in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he'd get even with centers. He played linebacker. And now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
17-7 at the half. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Back at Giants Stadium, a lot of buses outside. One of those yours, John?
Not one of those. It looks like one of those, but that's not one of them.
It's 17-7. Phil Simms, who was shaken up on the last play of the first half, came back, it seems, without a problem. Very windy, and the Giants will kick off to the Cardinals. So the Cardinals' choice, unlike the Giants at the beginning of the game, is let's get the ball and put the offense to work. They'll have the wind at their back in the third quarter and against it in the fourth. Giant locker room is that the doctors didn't even bother to look at Phil Simms as he got to the locker room. Ball bounces and away from Sikahema, picks it up back inside his 10-yard line and gets it out only to the 15. Ricky Shaw was down to make the stop. Pass distribution, first half.
Well, wide receivers, they only hit 3 out of 10, and I would think that that will change the second half. You can see 3 out of 4 to the running backs, and then 1 for 1 to the tight ends. But their pass offense is going to be to J.T. Smith and Roy Green. But you look at this. Against the wind, Lomax was 1 for 3, 6 to 12 with the wind. Now he's going with the wind in this quarter.
Smith is wide to the left, Roy Green wide right. They have to get it done in this quarter. Back to Stump Mitchell. There's not much in front of him. He broke one tackle, that by Pepper Johnson, and he was hit by Gary Reasons and hit hard. Gain 5. The Cardinals, to a man, are enthused about moving to Phoenix, and they love the city.
Well, Stump Mitchell was so enthused. We look right here. He just had the thing carved right in his head. Here's the Cardinal thing. See this here? This is what it looks like up here. He just had this transferred to here. And he walks around. You talk about a guy with pride. You just stick that thing right in the side of your head.
He really doesn't like it. Here is Mitchell around the corner. Stumbled. He had about 10 yards of open field in front of him. He got a first down after a gain of 15, nevertheless.
Watch him here as he makes his turn and starts up the field. He looks like he blows a tire. He's running here, and everything's going well, and whap, he just goes right down. I mean, there wasn't a hand around him, and it sure can't be slippery down there. Something just caught, and the wheels went out.
It'll be 1st and 10, Phoenix, from their own 36. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Giant Stadium. 17-10 Giants. Here's Lomax back to throw. Taylor close to it. He gets it away to Ewald, the tight end. And he gets the first down across the 50. Stopped by Pepper Johnson.
Hey, that's a tough job that Louis Sharp has to do, is block Taylor all day, but he did about as good a job as you can do.
No huddle for the Cardinals. Handoff is to Farrell. Farrell taken down by Banks. Picked up 4.
You know, probably what the Cardinals are doing is they know that they have the wind in this quarter. They're going with a no huddle on that last play, probably trying to get as many plays in this quarter as they can.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think when they're down by 10. I think if they're really going to be in this game in this quarter, they better get 2 scores.
Big draw play. Here comes Taylor on the blitz. Lomax has it knocked loose and almost intercepted by Eric Dorsey. He couldn't quite hold on. A flag on the play.
There's no flag, no foul on the play. Third down.
It looked like that official was throwing it at Dorsey like he didn't like his effort or something. You know, like one of those guys, you know, that are judging some diving contest or something. Watch, there's Taylor with the pressure. Lomax is just getting rid of the ball. Goes out like the last shot of a Roman candle. You see Dorsey going for it. The referee, the official, threw the flag at Dorsey.
3rd down and 6, then he picked it back up.
Well, I think he thought Dorsey should have intercepted it, or maybe he thought Dorsey was an offensive lineman.
How could he think that? Wolfley back with Lomax. Kennard showing blitz. Novacek goes in motion. That's incomplete. In the direction of Ernie Jones, who broke it to the outside. And the defense does its job for the Giants. Adrian White and Terry Kennard were firing on a blitz.
Neil Lomax threw that one way before Ernie Jones ever made his cut. I think part of it was try and get it out there to Jones, and the other part of it was get rid of the ball before they get to me.
12-18 left in the 3rd quarter. Greg Horn back to punt to Phil McConkey. Over his head. Horn with no place to go. As the ball finally knocked loose, the Giants will take over. The center for the Cardinals on the punts is Mark Walczyk, a backup tight end.
And he sent this thing at 2 o'clock. That's right up over the head. He didn't even have a chance, Horn did. He couldn't even jump for that one. And right now he doesn't have a chance. He didn't know whether to pass it, punt it, or kick it. So he did something that looked like a fumble. Watch how far over his head it was. He couldn't even jump for it. And he has no idea what to do. So I'll tell you, the Giants really did great. They played good defense, getting the Cardinals stopped there with the wind. Now they get the ball against the wind, but with great field position.
And off from Sims to Joe Morris. And Morris cuts back before he's stopped by Lyles. Gets down to the 19. Cardinals fumble the opening kickoff. 1 turnover. They just had that turnover. They've had 4 penalties. They had the pass interception by Sheldon White. That was the other turnover. And Bavaro is now limping around. He has 4 injuries already. 2nd and 6. Sims to Morris. Morris bounces inside the 15. Stopped finally by David Galloway and E.J. Jr. Joe got 5.
See what Bill Parcells wants to do. He wants to take as much time as he can, run as much time off the clock, and then, of course, score a touchdown. But the longer the offense can keep the ball here, then the longer that can keep the Cardinals off the field with the wind. Of course, you better get first downs to do that.
3rd and 1.
I would think they'd just hand the ball to Joe Morris. He's hot today. That's what I would do.
And they give to Morris. He's going to get the first down. Picked up 2 before he's run backwards by the Cardinals. Cedric Mack and Carl Carter. It's a big first down.
Joe Morris is on his way to getting 100 yards today. It's been a while since he's had one of those things, but you can just see the confidence in him today. That's why I said on the short yardage I'd give it to him, because today he has that old Joe Morris look, like he wants the ball.
He's picking the holes well, and when the hole's not there, he's running with a lot of authority. The lone setback this time is Morris. The handoff is to him. McDonald and Nico Noga. 5-yard pickup by Morris.
See, now the squirrel could be down there and say, well, why are they running? They did the first time they got down there, and they only came up with 3 points. But now they have more confidence in their running game. Joe Morris is running with more confidence. Our offensive line is starting to get a feel for this game, and I really feel that the Giant offensive line is kind of taking over this game today.
They're starting to look more and more like a unit.
Yeah, they're getting some movement. They're creating some holes.
2nd and 5. Morris again. Close to the goal line. He'll have enough for a first down, and he almost took it all the way in.
I don't know, from up here, that looked like he did take it in. That's what he's saying, too. What the heck do you guys want? You tell me that the ball has to break the plane. Let's see. There's that counter. Big hole over there. Look at the hole. He's just driving those legs. Joe Morris thought the ball broke the plane. I guess his knee was down before the ball got there. I think when he gets first down, unless they turn it over, it's academic.
1st and goal at the 1. Anderson with the attempt, and he got nothing. Anthony Bell.
I'd put Joe Morris back in and let him run it. I think today's his day. But you watch here, you only have a half a yard to go. All you have to do is get it in there, dive over. Cardinals have good defense. Otis Anderson is a bigger back than Joe Morris, but I think Joe Morris is a more powerful back than Otis Anderson.
At least today he is. Anderson again. This time he's in against his old team.
You go back and you pat those offensive linemen on the hand. You see him, he goes up to each one and he says, thank you. You say, what are you thanking him for? Well, watch this. Watch your movement here. First guy he thanked was Carthon, number 44. He dove there, but then the lineman made that push. Carthon gave him the lead, and the only thing there to hit him was air.
McFadden for the extra point. Hostetler's hold, and it's 24-7 with 7:47 left to play in the 3rd quarter. And this crucial battle, as you look again at Otis Anderson's touchdown, it's 24-7 Giants. Here's the touchdown again.
I'll tell you what, here's Noga here. The lead is going to come from Carthon, 44. Well, watch the block that he gets on Nico Noga. Watch 44. Boom, he dives, wow, he knocks it there, and there's nothing left for Otis Anderson.
And Carthon kept right on going.
That was a pretty good collision in the hole. Noga was going to jump and hit it. Carthon jumped and hit him.
McFadden bounces it. The Cardinals just fall on it. It's Jesse Clark. So the Cardinals take over, first down. 7:39 left to play in the 3rd quarter. The Giants in command at 24-7 at the moment.
Hey, and I think that was a big touchdown, Pat. The fact that they got that turnover on the punt coverage, but their defense stopped them. And again, with the wind, and I felt the Cardinals had to get 2 scores in this 3rd quarter. Now they have to get 3 scores in this quarter. I think they're going to be in this.
Roy Green. Lomax has his pass picked off by Kennard. Kennard headed for the end zone. Lomax, the last one, got blocked. The Cardinals finally got him out of bounds. And again, the Giants are in good shape. Earl Farrell finally knocked Kennard out of bounds after a gain of 41.
I tell you, watch this defense. The one thing that the Giants are doing is they're playing this loose zone defense. Look, they got the corners up here, the safeties back here. The safeties are like 15 yards deep and then going deep. Then the linebackers come. Now just watch how the defense develops. It's a soft. They're not going to let them get deep. They have the corners are going to rotate up in the outside. The safeties are going deep, 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 just hanging for that thing, keying the quarterback. Make him throw into it.
Morris stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That, by the way, was Terry Kennard's third straight game with an interception.
You know, they called him, they nicknamed him, remember that Blood Green? No, what was it? Mitchell.
Mitch Blood Green.
Mitch Blood Green, yeah, that Tyson hit in that fight in some bar. Well, Kennard broke a sinus last week, and he went to blow his nose, and his eye kind of popped out. Some big deal popped out in his eye, and he came back, and Parcells said, oh, yeah, that's just a fighter injury. They do that, and then the thing pops out. He said, we'll just slap a shield on him. He'll be okay.
And they nicknamed him Blood after Blood Green. Tim McDonald stopped Sims with a little mix-up by the Giants that time. Interesting, John, that 2 of the Giants' 3 touchdowns have come against the wind.
Well, of course, and that's been with the good field position.
Right.
Remember that one was a short one when they got down there. Then they got down there again after that punt thing went awry for the Cardinals, and now they just got an interception. So I guess you can go into the wind is fine if you have good field position. The tough thing is a long drive into the wind.
Third, 13, I think. The 45-second clock on the field is not working. That was that last conversation with the officials. Here's Sims. Fumble. And the Cardinals get it back. That's the first Giant turnover. David Galloway came up with the ball.
Well, the Giants just had everything going their way, and the Cardinals come back and get a turnover. That's the thing that kills you. When you get a turnover, you get an interception, and then you go right back and give it right back to them.
24-7. 5:42 left in the third.
Watch this. Here's Tim McDonald here, and he's going to come on the blitz, and he's going to bat the ball out of Sims's hand. Now watch, he's going to come there. Now watch his right hand right there. Boom. You see, it just knocks the ball right out of his hand.
Lomax as the ball slip out of his hand. Roy Green, the intended receiver. There is a rule, as you look at the Eagles, 19-7 now over the Redskins. The Redskins lose, they're out of the playoffs, the defending world champions. But the rule said, as I started to say, that you cannot intentionally bat the ball out of anybody's hand.
You know, and we're seeing it more and more on, happening to quarterbacks, and Gene Stallings brought that rule up that, you see these guys rushing from the backside, hitting the ball out, but that is illegal.
2nd and 10, intended for J.T. Smith. And it's incomplete. Lomax again under pressure. This time it was Pepper Johnson who put the rush on. Smith was covered by Sheldon White.
Sheldon White is doing a good job. I think that he's taken Mark Collins's place. They thought Collins had pulled a groin muscle, and he was out, and they finally put him on IR. They find that he has a hernia now. So Mark Collins pulled the groin muscle, tried to play last Sunday night. Then they found that it's a groin muscle, but also a hernia, and he's going to have that surgically repaired. So he's on IR, and the rookie Sheldon White now has to do the job.
3rd down and 10. Cardinals at their own 23. Lomax outside. Roy Green is hit. It's close to a first down. Wayne Haddix made the hit that knocked him backwards. They're going to have to measure this when they mark it.
I think the big thing is where they mark it, Pat. They look like they put it up, then they're moving it back a little. If there's anything that is not very scientific in this league, it's spotting the football.
It looks like, it looked in the beginning like it wasn't enough. Now it looks like it is enough.
I thought Haddix had him there. It looked like he wasn't beyond it initially. Roy Green is one of those smart players who knows where he has to get to. But his forward motion there went one notch up beyond the line. I think they gave him a good spot. I think they put it 3 notches up above the line, above the 30-yard line.
Less than 5 minutes now left to play in the third quarter. Giants 24, Cardinals 7. They're going to have to throw it on just about every down. Outside to Farrell, and he dropped it. Farrell being covered by Banks.
This guy is really one of the few complete fullbacks in the league. You know, he's a good runner, he's a good blocker, he's a good pass receiver, and he's really an all-around back, and you don't see that much in a fullback. You usually get the blocking type guy, and then you get the pass receiving type guy being 2 different guys. Farrell, it's all one guy.
Having one of his best years. Right now he's getting a rest. Both he and Stump Mitchell. Lomax has the ball slip out of his hand in the direction of Roy Green. Lomax having a tough time getting used to that knee brace. He said to us yesterday it was very uncomfortable. It does give him the support.
Watch his zone, Pat, and this is what Lomax is looking at. I watch the Giants. They're just all going to drop back. Now, if we could just stop it right there. You see right here in the line, that's all one zone. And they still got these guys deep here, so they can't throw deep. And they have someone in every zone and on any area. And there's just no place for Lomax to throw to.
And another big third down facing him. Leonard Marshall. Collision in the backfield, but no penalty flag is down. Ernie Jones was the intended receiver, and the defense for the Giants again does an outstanding job.
And these fans know it. They're giving the defense a standing ovation, and they ought to give the defensive pass coverage a standing ovation today, because they are really putting the blanket on these Cardinal receivers.
And as you pointed out, something they've done to Lomax for years. Horn, line drive kick to McConkey at the 20. McConkey taken down at about the 27-yard line. 46-yard punt, 7-yard return. And the Giants take over. 4:19 left in the third quarter. They lead 24-7. Back at Giants Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, the home of the Giants. Pat Summerall with John Madden, where the Giants lead the Phoenix Cardinals 24-7. 1st and 10, Giant ball their own 28. To Morris. Stopped by Anthony Bell. Picked up 4. Morris running well.
Well, you know, as you look his first 5, he gained 8 yards. His second 5, he gained 11. Now look, as he goes, his third 5, he gained 39 yards. You know, like he's gotten warmed up and gotten into it. Then his fourth 5, he's gained 18 yards. So you can see that he just got stronger. Sometimes it takes a back 5 or 10 just to kind of get the cobwebs off, get it going. You're warmed up.
It'll be 2nd and 6. And Morris again. He came to work today, and Coach Parcells is obliging. No gain, however.
Here's Mark Bavaro here. You know, he's had everything wrong with him this year. I mean, he's had the ankle and both toes. One's been operated on, and the other one's hurting. He got the thumb, he got everything. But I'll tell you one thing, he's not catching as much as he's done. He's not doing all those things, but I think just the fact that every week the guy is here, he's lined up, he played, he's a tough guy. I mean, this is a trying year for him. Never complained, always there.
4 wide receivers. Emmanuel. Sims, Carl Carter on the stop. Cliff Stout is warming up over on the sideline. So is Lomax. That's Lomax right there. Gain of 9 and a first down, Giants.
I think what happened, I think with this cold weather, I think Lomax, and haven't been out, just goes over to the sideline every time and just keeps throwing so that he doesn't get in there, get warm, and then get cold, and then come out.
Stout is back there talking to Lomax, and he is throwing as well. Here's Morris again, and up to about the 48. Stout now has got his jacket off, so he might be replacing Neil Lomax. Gain of 6 by Morris.
Well, Lomax had missed the last 2 games. You know, remember he got hurt against the Giants the first time they played in Phoenix, and he tore his medial collateral ligament, Lomax did, so Stout started the last 2 games, and maybe Lomax has just gotten to the point where he says that whether it's rusty or his knees bother him or his hip or whatever, that he just can't go anymore, and maybe they're going to go with Stout.
And Stout is much more mobile, even forgetting about bad knees. Here's Morris again. First down, Giants. Freddie Joe Nunn. Tim McDonald made the stop. Morris got 6.
I think Mark Bavaro hurt his right shoulder on this. Let's watch him blocking. This is the side Morris is running to. Watch him. He starts the block. He's moving his man to the outside, moving him to the outside. Morris cut off that block. Then Bavaro just ran off the field. But, you know, he had his toe operate, his big toe operate on in the offseason. Then he did the same thing to the other toe. And then he has a thumb and a shoulder and a side, and I mean, his whole body isn't working very efficiently this year.
But Joe Morris is in. He's over 100 yards for the first time since week 3 at Sims. Comes out of the pocket and wisely takes to the turf. Nico Noga made sure he stayed down, and they'll run out the 3rd quarter. Sims headed for the sideline for a conference, not because of an injury. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, the Giants 24, the Cardinals 7. The tower on the George Washington Bridge nearby. The end of 3 quarters. Giants have 16 first downs. Phoenix has only 7. Yardage, Giants 226. Phoenix 155. Sims back to throw it. Now he's got the win. And he has Zeke Moat right open. Inside the 30 to the 26. Lester Lyles knocked him out of bounds. With the wind, both teams successful. Against the wind is the key. 97-15.
And I'll tell you, it doesn't make any difference with or without the wind. If they don't cover your tight end and you throw the ball out to him, you're going to have a big play. Zeke Moat was in there at the tight end. He ran a little out pattern. No one covered him.
And they got 20. Here's Morris, already over 100 and picking up more. A gain of 7. Nico Noga and Tim McDonald.
Now, Maurice Carthon, Joe Morris is going to have a big day, but one of the reasons he's having a big day is because Maurice Carthon is blocking well for him.
That's the combination they had that was so effective when they won the Super Bowl.
Yep. Elliott got a big block out there that time. Big John Elliott playing left tackle. Carthon has been getting some good lead blocks. The tight ends today, both Bavaro and Moat, have been blocking better.
2nd and 3. Adams is the tailback this time. for the Cardinals today made the stop. He's made a lot of tackles, and that's not always a good sign because he's a safety man.
Now you watch Carthon here make that block in McDonald. McDonald played that real well. He's a strong safety. Now the Cardinals think that the Giants are going to run, so they're playing 8 men up. That's how McDonald, the strong safety, gets up on the line of scrimmage. So he's playing like an extra linebacker right up there, and if you don't get him blocked, you're not going to make any yardage.
3rd and 1. Moan is the move man, and the handoff is to Morris over the left side, and he'll have enough.
You know, let's look at Joe Morris has gained all those yards. Let's look at how many hits he's taken. You know, you don't always think about this, but running the ball, he's been hit 90 times. 1 time blocking, 3 receiving. So far, just starting the 4th quarter, Joe Morris has taken 94 hits. That's why they wake up on Monday morning and say, why does this hurt, that hurt, the other part hurt? Because all the hits you take on Sunday.
1st down, Giants at the Phoenix 20. At the Phoenix 15, make that. Here's Morris again. Close to the 10. Lester Lyles, the other safety man, makes the stop.
Yeah, we talked about Carthon and Morris, but this big John Elliott there, 76, has been doing a good job on that left side, too. Remember when he started his first game, it was funny, they were going down and playing the Cowboys, and Elliott was going to start his first game as a pro. And he was going to play right tackle then against Too Tall Jones. They were in the tunnel, Dallas Stadium. They're coming out. Phil Simms went over to check to see if he was ready. Someone said, go over and check Elliott, see if he's ready to block Too Tall. Simms walked over to check Elliott and said, hey, big guy, you ready? And Elliott threw up right on him. I guess that means that's the way a big old 300-plus pound guy answers a question, yes.
And Simms went back to the locker room. We'll return to Giant Stadium after this word from your local station. Back at Giant Stadium, 2nd and 6 for the Giants at the Phoenix 11. 12:15 left to play. Simms went back to the referee, Gene Barth, about something. Ball must have been on a wet spot.
Or something, or he saw a wet spot on the ball, but there was some reason Phil Simms decided that he wanted that thing changed. Maybe Big John Elliott got excited again about having to block someone.
For Baker, incomplete and a flag on the play. Cedric Mack on the coverage.
You can see that whole thing, Pat. It was an audible. Simms saw that they were going to...
Number 47, defense. 1st down to the 1-yard line.
Phil Simms thought that they were going to bring the safety blitz, so he audibilizes to this play. And let's just watch it go. You see, he sees it coming, so he knows he has one-on-one. Look, he looks to the right. He sees the safeties coming over there right. See the head come back? Now he says, okay, here he comes. Now that means over here to the left, I have man-to-man. Boom, boom, throws it up there, and Cedric Mack interferes. When he saw that, he saw the safety coming from the right, he audibleized, and we had man-to-man in the left.
1st and goal from the 1, Anderson. The deep back. Anderson, touchdown. His 2nd of the day.
His 2nd, but I think this offensive line of the Giants has had one of their biggest days all year. Watch, they get some movement in there. Again, a good lead by Carthon, and Otis Anderson finds a soft spot in there. But I think this offensive line, I think Joe Morris running, and I think the effort of Phil Simms has been the big difference in the Giants.
McFadden's extra point is good. And it's 31-7. With 12:09 left to play, the Giants with a decisive lead.
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Seagram's Coolers. This is where the fun starts.
To summarize the game, the Giants won the toss and took the win. That could have been part of the key to the whole contest. They got 107 yards in the first quarter and 10 points out of that. And they lead now 31-7. If you look back, John, and you think about that, that could turn out to be one of the most important strategic decisions that Bill Parcells has made.
I think that was a big decision, but then they had to do something with it after they did it. And again, I think this is the first game in a year that I can remember that the offensive line kind of has taken over the game. Sunday night, the defense won the game for them. Today, it's offense. It's a line. It's Joe Morris. It's Carthon blocking, and it's Phil Simms.
Well, they've had so many different combinations up front throughout the year in the offensive line. McFadden's kickoff goes to Sikahema at the 1. He is taken down by Haddix at the 23-yard line. Washington has just gotten a field goal from Lohmiller and moved a little bit closer to the Eagles, 19-10. Cincinnati over San Diego, 27-10. Cincinnati looking like one of the stronger teams in the NFL at the moment. The Cowboys, who've struggled all year long, lead Cleveland in Cleveland. Tampa Bay 10-2 over Buffalo. A little bit of a shocker. Cliff Stout is the quarterback. They moved the team last week, but they lost. Lomax, I would imagine, is through for the day. Here's Roy Green. Draw play to Mitchell. Nothing there. He stopped by Reason.
How would you like to be the backup quarterback and it's the fourth quarter, you're playing the Giants, you're going into the wind, and you're down 31-7. They say, okay, go in and win it.
No huddle. Stout back to throw it. Hit by George Martin. The ball's jarred loose. The Cardinals can barely get it back. It's loose again, and maybe they didn't get it back. The Giants got it back. Reasons with the recovery. Fourth turnover for the Cardinals.
Well, George Martin is the first guy. He puts the pressure on Stout. You see, Martin is right there. He hits him. Stout can't get the ball. Now 61, it looks like Lance Smith is going to end up with the ball. Right there. No, I don't think Lance Smith did ever get it. Reasons took it away from Smith down there in the bottom. Watch Pepper Johnson at the end of the play. But he's there with his hand. He's trying to shovel them in. Give him the old shovel job.
Morris to about 7. First down. Flag on the play. He's hit by Sadler.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 46. Half the distance to the goal line.
That's Tim McDonald, 46, right there. I don't know. That didn't look that bad.
Good block by Maurice Carthon again.
Hey, this was a big game for the Phoenix Cardinals, and then to come up with numbers like this, 4 turnovers, 6 penalties, a bad snap on the punt. You can't be in a championship effort going for playoffs and have those types of things.
We were asking them yesterday what was their favorite stadium, and they all said Sun Devil Stadium, home field. What's your least favorite? Giant Stadium.
This is it, and it's not so much the carpet. The Giants even have a new carpet here in this field. It's the wind and the weather conditions.
Sims. Incomplete to Lionel Manuel. Covered by Carter. Almost had it. Lost it.
Richard Sims throws this right by Carl Carter, right into Manuel. Carter has his back turned to Sims. He doesn't even see it. The only thing that he can be playing there is when Manuel's hands go up, Carter is going to put his hands up. But Sims almost slipped that ball in there to Manuel.
Second and goal from the 4. And see Morris. We do see Morris. See him run, see him score a touchdown. To 7 with 10:45 left to play. This is known as a rout.
Hey, another good block by Maurice Carthon. He's going to lead on Tim McDonald, 46. Watch 44 right there. See, he made that lead block. That was a block that sprung Morris.
McFadden for the extra point. Bill Sims, as you pointed out, John, has had an outstanding day. McFadden once again has been perfect. Joe Morris has been close to perfect. 10:45 still left, and the Giants 38-7. Well, of course, the Eagles are beating Washington today, and the Giants are overwhelming Phoenix. It'll be a big game for Philadelphia. The Cardinals must regroup. Sickham at the 5. Special teams did their jobs again. It's Haddix. About the 4th tackle he's made on the kickoff.
Let's watch the touchdown again, Pat. Here's Bavaro. He's going to get a good block here. Here's Carthon. He's going to get a kick out here, and Morris is going to split the 2. Let's watch it. Bavaro, 89 up top. Boom! He gets in his guy, turn him in. Here's Carthon. He's going to cut McDonald, the outside guy, and look at that lane right there that it makes for Joe Morris. Right there, he sees that. That's all he needs.
Cardinals have blitzed out at quarterback. Back to throw. Right in his face. Right now, for an NFL update, let's send you back to New York, our studio, and Brent Musburger.
Pat, the Giant fans didn't get a break here. Greg Coleman bobbles a snap on Washington's 32-yard field goal, and so Philadelphia continues to hold its lead now. 19-10, 13:22 to go. Back to Pat.
10:33 left to play here at Giant Stadium. Giants up 38-7. Lifts out the quarterback. Over the right side. Hammered at about the 25 by Kenny Hill.
Look at this. They aren't barking down there like dogs, but they're having a little fun. You hear them? Kenny Hill got up after that tackle. He went, oh, ho, ho. Sound like Santa Claus. Oh, ho, ho. What do you want? Oh,
well, it's that time. Or getting close. 3rd and 3. The ball at the 26 for the Cardinals. And a tough day for them.
That's a great time of year, though. You know, you know, the holidays, the football, playoffs. That's what everyone works all year for.
Roy Green was the man in motion. Stout saw it coming in. Went down in the arms of Carl Banks. George Martin.
I think George Martin really put a hit on Cliff Stout. Well, yeah, Martin comes in from the outside, and he takes Stout's cleats right out of the ground. Watch 75 right there. I mean, he really hit him initially, and then when Stout went to the ground, he took another hit
from Banks
against the artificial turf and Carl Banks.
Tom Tupa, a rookie from Ohio State, is the Cardinals' 3rd quarterback. Lomax took a rest. And we'll see who plays. At Giant Stadium, it's 38-7. Giants win all 3, including this one. They'll be assured of at least a wild card spot.
You know, the Giants are now, today, they're starting to look like a playoff team again. You know, last year, of course, they didn't coming off their Super Bowl year, the strike and all that stuff. And this year they went through a period where I didn't think that they were much of a championship team. I mean, they had a lot of talk. They had some schedule that was in their thing. And I felt that they were just talking like one, but they weren't playing like one. And today, I get the feeling that they're playing like one.
I don't think they ever got it back after the strike of last year. Horns punt. McConkey. That he handled. It's one block. Stopped by Ricky Hundley. 38-yard punt by Horn. Next weekend here on CBS, doubleheader Sunday. It begins at 12:30 with the NFL Today. Detroit will be at Chicago to face the playoff-bound Bears. Minnesota at Green Bay. Dallas at Washington. That used to mean a lot. Tampa Bay and New England, and the doubleheader game at Candlestick Park, where John Madden and I will be. New Orleans against the 49ers. Again, for an NFL update, let's take you back to New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, you're right, Pat. Dallas and Washington used to mean a lot, but the Cowboys couldn't hold up against the Browns. Another touchdown pass by Bernie Kosar, this one to Weathers, and now it's a 10-point lead, and the Browns keeping their divisional championship hopes alive. Back to Pat.
The Browns, with a victory today, would clinch at least a wild card spot. 38 points by the Giants, the most since the Super Bowl victory against Denver, where they got 39. Anderson and Carthon are the two backs behind Phil Simms. And Anderson gets the call and the carry, and Anderson runs hard. Picked up 5.
O.J. Anderson was one of the guys also last week that didn't play. He had a hand injury, a thumb injury, and he couldn't grip the ball, so he was out. Carl Banks was out. We know that Phil Simms was out. I think that getting through that game last week against the Saints and winning that game, and then put themselves in this position where now they can start to get some guys back. They're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here.
Here's Anderson again, and again running hard and pounding into Cardinal territory before he is stopped finally by Brim. Should be a satisfying day for Bill Parcells.
Well, I think that last Sunday night was a satisfying night for him, because he really, in fact, I talked to him during the week, and I congratulate him for the job that he and his staff and his team did with a half a deck. I mean, they went into a place on the road against the team, the Saints, who were a hot team. And you go in, like I say, with the half a deck, and you come out winning that game. That's a compliment to them and the job they did.
Ball's at the Cardinal 43. Anderson this time is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage after a gain of 1. The remaining games for the contending teams, although Washington might not be a contender. Philadelphia goes to Phoenix and then goes to Dallas. The Giants at home against Kansas City, and although they'll play in Giant Stadium, they won't be the home team at Giant Stadium.
Well, you see what they need. What the Giants need is for Philadelphia to lose one of those games. Because if they tie, of course, the Eagles have the tiebreaker. So the Giants can win 2, then they'll be in the playoffs as a wild card. Unless the Eagles lose a game, then they can win the division.
Anderson stood up at about the 40 and knocked backwards after he picked up 2. 6:05 left to play.
And I think some of those things were academic before, but I think now they're starting to make sense the way they're playing. I know when we talked to Phil Simms yesterday and coming off the injury and watching him practice, as you think back now, he really had an air of confidence. It wasn't a worried look or a hurt look. It was kind of a confident look that I'm okay and I'm going to get through this, and he's carried that same look on the field all day.
10 minutes remaining in Philadelphia. 5.5 remaining at Giant Stadium. Hand off to Anderson again. He will not get the first down. Lawrence Taylor, who had such a spectacular game against New Orleans last Sunday night, had a good game today and is getting better and better as far as his health is concerned.
Well, he was a little more quiet today than he was the other night, but I think the fact that his effort the other night put him in position that today's game still meant something. He still looks tired from last week. It can't be from today because the Giants have had this game under control from the opening kickoff. The opening kickoff, they run down, they get a fumble, they get the ball, and it was their day the whole day.
Right from the beginning. The Giants have rushed it, which they feel is the key to their whole success, that and defense, 48 times today for a total of 159 yards. Flag down on the last play, and they move it backwards. Someone just threw a pair of shoes on the field from the Giant bench.
I think that was some gloves, wasn't it, that Buford took off? Yeah.
Buford's kick bouncing. Batted backwards. And back into the end zone.
Neil Gugamos was down there, and he had the ball, but he must have been standing on the goal line because they keep the ball out. But watch number 41. The ball's tipped there. It's okay. Now watch 41. Gugamos. He's going to get it right there. Hey, he looks okay. I think we ought to put that one on the clicker. Let's see if we can see that on the thing there. I think he's in. See, the ball doesn't break. His feet haven't touched. And then he comes down. That ball should have been there in the 1 yard line.
First down for the Cardinals. Stout back at quarterback. And he fires finally out of bounds in the direction of J.T. Smith.
You know, the other area, Pat, that I think did such an outstanding job today is the secondary. You know, that really, whether it was earlier when Neil Lomax was in there or later when Cliff Stout, they just haven't had anyone to throw to. The Cardinals, they have these great receivers. J.T. Smith, Roy Green, leading receivers in the league. Awald, the tight end. And these guys, Perry Williams, Sheldon White at corners, Kenny Hill and Kennard at the safeties, have really put a blanket on this Cardinal offense.
That's Awald that jumped off sides. Johnny Cook's now in at linebacker.
Foul start, number 86 offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
You can see what Phoenix has done today. Look, only 4 passes to their wide receivers. Roy Green had 9 the first time they played, only 2 today. 3 out of 7 to the running backs, 2 for 2 for the tight end. So as I said, they've put a blanket on this Cardinal offense today, the passing game.
They really have. Second down. 15 from the 15. Stout into Roy Green. Adrian White got a hand on it. Tampa Bay 10-5 over Buffalo. That's in the fourth quarter. So is that one, as Miami has made a comeback.
Hey, it looked like Adrian White on that play just misjudged it. He didn't even get his hand up toward the ball. It looked like he got a elbow up towards the ball. He's a guy who wants to be a fighter anyway. Adrian White, he would like to come back and fight in the New York Golden Gloves this year.
He's been working out with that in mind. San Francisco beat Atlanta, and that mathematically eliminates the Falcons from any playoff spot or any possibility. J.T. Smith drops the ball on the ground and finally dropped it. George Martin is saying, we got it.
Yeah, like I say, this thing started in the Giants' favor. They've had everything going their way all day, starting with the opening kickoff. Look at that. J.T. Smith had the ball. He's running down the field with it. Just drops out of his hand. Gene Stallings would say, what is this? Is this some kind of nightmare I'm having here in New York today? What's the deal here?
It's like Jeff Hostetler will be coming in at quarterback for the Giants as the officials rule. The Giants did recover, and they'll take over at the 13-yard line. Ricky Shaw made the recovery. Here's Hostetler.
Yeah, he gets a hand here from the fans. He was the guy who started against the Saints last week, played the first half. Then they took him out, put in Jeff Rutledge. Hostetler was upset by that. Said he wanted to be traded, and he probably thought about it. Who am I going to be traded to? So he had a talk with Bill Parcells during the week, and Parcells reminded him, hey, this is a team game. And when we win as a team, we're all happy. We lose, none of us are happy. I'll tell you, being a backup quarterback is a very difficult thing and can get frustrating at times, and you have to be able to live with that and handle that.
He's been here 5 years. Otis Anderson and Lou Son are the two runners. Anderson spinning, still on his feet, down to about the 7. Cedric Mack finally got him down. He picked up 6. 6 times today, the Giants have gotten the ball in Cardinal territory.
You see O.J. Anderson at the end of that run there. He gave a sign over to the Cardinal bench. Of course, he played for this Cardinal team for 8 years, so those guys are still friends of his over there. And I think sometimes you play these games against your ex-teammates, and it's kind of for bragging rights, because you are still friends. It's not that you get traded, you start to hate the guys. They're still your buddies, but the win gives you the right to brag all year.
2nd and 4, Anderson close to the goal line. That'll be enough for a first down. Stopped by Tim McDonald. Picked up 6.
Hey, this all started with the offensive line dominating early. Now look at what they can do. They just got that Cardinal defense just going backwards. Now you can put in anyone. Anyone can get in there and do anything. But it's these guys up front. The guy in the middle, Oates. Look at Ard there, Elliott. These guys. They're the guys that established it, and they did it all day. And now, as a lineman, you get to reap the benefits of it when you get in these situations.
1st and goal from the 1. You would expect Anderson. His 3rd of the day.
They were leading 44-7. They look like they're bored with it. See that? They can't even give a good high five, a good celebration anymore. O.J. Anderson gets in the end zone, just gets up, walks around, gives a little easy-going thing there. Hostetler gives him one back. Getting boring, they say.
McMahon's extra point is blocked by Tim McDonald.
Tim McDonald just comes from the outside, from the right side of the screen, gets a good jump. That was a heck of a block. I mean, I know it's 44-7, but that was a heck of a move there. I mean, he got a good jump and just ran in there and sticked his left hand out there and just batted that ball down. This is a pretty good play. Here he is, again, on the left side of the screen now. Watch him extend, just take that left hand and just knock the ball down. I'm impressed with that Tim McDonald.
Me too.
Strong safety. He's only a 2nd-year guy out of USC, but he's been all over the place on the passing game, the running game. He's been blitzing, blocked an extra point there. He stayed in this fight.
Don't forget CBS Sports coverage of the NFL continues next Saturday with the Philadelphia Eagles going to Phoenix to face these Cardinals. Madden's kick. His own man, but still gets out to the 40-41. Adrian White and Tom Flynn finally break him down. Don't forget, very windy here today. Look, when the teams had to win, first quarter and the fourth quarter for the Giants, they got 33 of their 44 points. Phoenix only got their 7 when they had to win. Tupa is now the quarterback. Tom Tupa, the big guy, 6'4", 220, from Ohio State, also a fine punter.
Maybe that's the secret. He ought to just get back and punt it.
Against the win. Got a completion to Novacek for about 9 yards, 8 maybe. 2-minute warning with the Giants beating the Cardinals 44-7. Tonight on 60 Minutes begins tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. And you talk about your flamboyant billionaires. You ain't seen nothing till you meet Robert Maxwell tonight on 60 Minutes. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. That's followed by a Hallmark Hall of Fame presentation, Graham Greene's The 10th Man, starring Anthony Hopkins. That's all tonight on CBS. At Giants Stadium, it's 2nd and 2 Cardinals at midfield with the Giants leading 44-7. That's correct, 44-7. Tupa is the quarterback. Pocket and sacked by George Martin, who put a good spin move on it.
Hey, George Martin starts out here. He's going to put a deal here, put a spin on, and make the play out there. Watch him how he spins, and then when he ends up his spin, he's right on Tupa.
Roy Green gets it out of bounds, chased out by Sheldon White.
You know, if Tupa were to go down the Cardinals' 3rd quarterback, the next guy up that would be quarterback is this guy right here, Roy Green.
Who also was a defensive back.
That's right, he was a defensive back, and just a couple weeks ago he came close to having to play defense again. You know, when their defensive backs got hurt. In fact, he said the last 3 or 4 weeks he's had defensive game plans. He's been ready for that. So he's the starting wide receiver, one of the best in the league, a backup defensive back, and the 4th quarterback.
4th and 9. Pass intended for J.T. Smith, incomplete. Wayne Haddix and Adrian White made the hits.
J.T. Smith has had a tough game today. He's dropped a couple. He had one. He's running down the field. He just fumbles the ball. J.T. Smith has had a great career here with the Cardinal team, but it's been topped off by a bad day to here. There's Harry Carson. He's making a comeback with the old Gatorade bucket. Who would have thought?
And he got the coach.
Yeah. I don't know if the coach is smart. Yeah, he's shaking hands. He loves him. There's a lot of love there in that group. Maybe the Giants are coming back.
They'll just run it out now. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants And the National Football League is prohibited.
There's another bucket there. Harry got that second bucket for someone. Who gets the second bucket? Look, he's hiding there. This whole thing is planned. I tell him, jump out of the way, move. Here it comes. Who gets it?
Like it
I
might
think
be
Parcells gets
again.
the second bucket. 44-7 win. He gets a double dipper. You kidding?
From a guy not in uniform, but still the captain. 5:50 remaining at Veterans Stadium. And Washington just got a touchdown. Terry Orr from Doug Williams. And they're coming back 19-17 in that game. It's a cold day for that kind of bat. 44-7. And the Giants do their part in keeping their hopes alive for a wild card spot on a cold and windy day at Giants Stadium. Things are still looking up for the Giants. Final score 44-7. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show coming up next. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
The NFL Today postgame show is sponsored by Miller Lite, official sponsor of the Miller Lite NFL Lineman of the Year Award. Once again, Brent Musburger.
All right, welcome back to the studio. And so Phil Simms' shoulder holds together, and the Giants win a big one. 44-7 was the count over the Phoenix Cardinals. And at the moment, the Philadelphia Eagles are having some problems. Here's the one that Giant fans want to know about. 19-17, the Skins just got back in business with a touchdown pass by Doug Williams, and there's about 5 minutes to go in that game. So if you stick with us in this post-game show, we'll keep you up to date as to whether or not the Giants are going to have a lead in the NFC's Eastern Division, or they will remain tied going into the final 2 weeks of the season. Now, meanwhile, there's a big swing in the AFC as far as the home field is concerned. Cincinnati figures to beat San Diego, and right now, Buffalo is being upset by Tampa Bay. And if that holds, the Bengals would have the home field for as long as they go if they can wrap up the Central Division Championship. With a win today, they assure themselves of at least the wild card home field advantage. Now, Dallas and Cleveland, a bit of a surprise. The Cowboys have hung tough this afternoon. The Browns got 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter out of Bernie Kosar, but the Cowboys came right back. And when Herschel Walker thundered in, it was a 3-point game. Now, the big upset of the day, taking place down in Tampa, the key, Vinny Testaverde, has not thrown a single interception. He came into the game with 31. Meanwhile, Indianapolis and Miami, the site of Super Bowl 23, and it was a wild, high-scoring game. Eric Dickerson with the hot hand, well over 150 yards for Indianapolis, and he scores a touchdown, 31-28. How about New England and Seattle? The Seahawks got only 2 first downs the entire game. Now, how much trouble do they have when they come east late in the season? And, of course, Doug Flutie and his running backs. This is Perriman going up over the top. Irv, how about the year that John Stevens has had for the Patriots?
An unsung hero, really, an underrated running back when he came in the league. Here he carries the ball there for over 1,000 yards this season. Got to congratulate him on having a great year running the football for him.
And I just get a signal that it's over down in Tampa Bay. The upset holds. The Buccaneers have beaten Buffalo this afternoon. What a shock that is. Patriots with a win over the Seahawks. And here is the final score. Buccaneers 10 and the Bills 5. And now Buffalo has lost 2 in a row. Here from the game is the big interception. When Kelly was going in, he threw this interception with time running down, and the Buccaneers were able to kill the clock, and they stage a huge upset. 10-5 is the final in that game. And now finally, other finals, San Francisco beating Atlanta 13-3 is the count in that game. And Irv, it's always that combination.
That's right. Montana to Rice. Here, Joe feels pressure in the pocket, rolls outside and finds Rice in the end zone for the first touchdown of the day.
Now, the big one, though, in that division, Dick, is coming up next week when New Orleans goes out west to take on the 49ers, regardless of what the Saints do later today against Minnesota, I guess.
Right. They're going to have to do business, the Saints. They're going to have to beat the 49ers because they already lost to them once already. So I think they've got the tougher road to go, the Saints. They got the Vikings, and then they got the 49ers out there. So I believe if the 49ers can just win out, I think they get the home field advantage, sure, at least one of them.
Absolutely, because they would have swept New Orleans, and so that'll put them in a good...
you know what I heard, too, in San Francisco is that they had a team meeting a couple weeks back after the Raider game, and they just, you know, had a team meeting and said, hey, let's quit listening to everybody with all the controversy with our quarterbacks, and let's start believing in ourselves, and let's put a string together, and by golly, they're starting to do it.
Seems to have worked, and speaking of working, Dick and Irv, the Detroit Lions, Wayne Font's getting the job done here against Green Bay, 30-14, time running down in that one, so apparently they're going to win again. And the offense, Mouse Davis now the offensive coordinator. Why not? The run and shoot, the end around, and Manley 21 yards for the touchdown. They even got some great defense out of a former Hawkeye, Devon Mitchell.
Well, the defense has been playing pretty well all year. And here, Devon Mitchell makes a great reception here on an interception, carrying the ball up the left sideline for the Lions, setting up a scoring opportunity for them. As a matter of fact, he goes all in for a touchdown, a 90-yard touchdown, interception return.
Didn't leave the opportunity for anybody.
No.
He took advantage of it. We'll continue with our post-game show. We'll keep you up to date on the Philadelphia Eagles in just a moment.
Here we go.
All right, the Eagles now are clinging to that 2-point lead right now. It is 19-17. That is the score. 2 minutes left. So obviously we're going to be checking in on the last 2 minutes of that game. They're in a break right now. The Washington Redskins have the ball back on about their own 30-yard line. Now, Cleveland over Dallas, 24-21 is the count in that game, with the Cowboys with a chance to knock the Browns completely out of that playoff picture. And they certainly have a chance in that game. They have played quite well in the fourth quarter. The Browns with the lead there as the result of 2 touchdown passes by Bernie Kosar in that game. And so the Dallas Cowboys are attempting to maneuver in that game. Meanwhile, the Giants over the Cardinals, the game that you watched, 44-7 is the final score. And let's send you out to the Meadowlands and Pat Summerall. Pat?
All right, Brent, and obviously when you win 44-7, as the Giants did today, something had to work right. It was turnovers, it was Joe Morris, it was Phil Simms, and it was the defense, and of course it was the offensive line, John.
That's what I think. I think the Giants earlier in the season maybe were talking about being a playoff team, and I didn't feel they were really playing like a playoff team. But today they did play like a playoff team, and I think it started there with the running game. If they're going to be a real champion team, if they're going to be in the hunt for this thing, they have to have a running game. Then to have a running game, the offensive line has to knock some people off the line. And this was one of the first times this year that I've seen that.
It's a very windy and rather cool day here at Giants Stadium. And Bill Parcells, the Giants coach, made a choice after he won the toss to kick off with the wind. His defense did the job, and they got the points. They recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff. And we asked the quarterback, Phil Simms, if he was surprised when Parcells made that decision.
The toss?
No, he told me before the game that if we won the toss that we were going to do that. So I thought it was a good choice because they tried to get us out to a fast start. I thought that was important for us today.
Phil, it seemed like in that first quarter, it didn't seem like that, but in that first quarter, you were as sharp and as effective as I've seen you in a long time.
Well, we matched up against some of their coverages pretty well. We called the right plays, and today they gave me a little more leniency, I guess you'd say. I was able to check off a lot more, and I just did whatever I wanted, so it made it easy on me, and then I think them not having Lonnie Young in there hurt them a little today, too.
And then I think a win like this really, at this point in the season, really has to be a big thing for your team.
No question. We had to come out today, play well, and do a lot of things that we got to keep doing for the rest of the season. One was running the ball. I was really happy to see the way our line just kept after them. And, you know, as the game wore on, we started running the ball more effectively. And we've got to do that, especially because this is kind of weather we're going to play in every week up here.
Bill, congratulations. Thanks very much.
Thank you all.
44-7, Giants over Phoenix. Now back to Brent Musburger.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Now, 2-point game here. The Skins have gotten to midfield. They are down to their last timeout. Now let's send you out. We're going to listen in on Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts.
49-yard line of Philadelphia. Oliphant gets hit, and Mike Pitts gets him for a loss. Back in Redskin territory to the 48.
but it takes great players to come up with great plays. This time it was Reggie White who got in there right as the handoff was given to Oliphant, who disrupted the play.
Calling it at the line. Only one timeout left for the Redskins. And a completed pass to the 42-yard line. Ricky Sanders, another catch. And the Redskins hurry up again. Winding down to a minute remaining. The Eagles lead 19-17. Doug Williams has Monk. And Monk gets inside the 40-yard line. Under a minute to play. The Redskins, who have made myriad of errors today at every phase of the game. And now the clock is stopped as Doug Williams fires the ball down as an incompletion with 43 seconds to go. And the Redskins are going to say to the Philadelphia Eagles here, if you want this division title and want to knock off the defending Super Bowl champs, you're going to have to play tough down the stretch.
Well, the Redskins are really showing a lot of class here today. This man especially, Doug Williams, he's the last guy that's expected to be a factor in this ball game. Heck, he spent all day yesterday, one of the happiest moments a person can experience as his wife gave birth to a new baby boy, and now he's in another one of the great competitive situations that he's famous for.
3rd down and 7 at the 39. Williams. Pass is caught short of a first down by Mike Oliphant. Eric Allen prevented the first down. Clock is running. Williams is getting the play. Lohmiller's longest field goal has been 46 yards as the Redskins now have to call their last timeout. So in order to try a 46-yarder, the Skins need to get to the 29. And right now they're at the 33-yard line. They call their last timeout with 28 seconds on the clock.
I got to believe they got to get about 10 yards closer than that because of this wind that's coming right in his face. This is the area on the field where Zendejas missed a chip shot extra point. It's a very difficult place, especially for a kicker, knowing that the wind is there. Your mind starts to play games with you. You start thinking about playing the wind instead of playing just football and kicking the ball through the uprights. A lot of things can happen when you're kicking into that wind and you got a rookie kicker. Let's get him as close as possible, and I'm sure that's what Doug Williams just said to Joe Gibbs, or vice versa.
But before they do that, they've got to get the first down, and it'll be 4th down and 1. Randall Cunningham leading the crowd. He's standing on top of the Eagle bench, and here is a 4th and 1 for the Redskins on the Eagle 33. Williams completes the pass. It's enough for the first down, but the clock is running. Monk had it. The Redskins are out of timeout.
Williams trying to get him on the line of scrimmage so he can snap it and kill the clock with an incomplete pass. There it is.
With 11 seconds to go, the ball is on the 26. And now Joe Gibbs has to make a decision. He has 11 seconds left. But unless they can get out of bounds with a pass closer to the goal line, he's risking having the clock run out before Lohmiller can try a field goal into the wind.
Well, that's why you got head coaches. They make these decisions. Do we go for the field goal now? It appears so. But what a gutty call on 4th and 1, going back to pass and throwing the ball.
So here's Lohmiller. He has kicked the 37-yarder. It'll be a 45-yard attempt, and it's a fake. Coleman throws it away, but it'll be 3rd down with 6 seconds to go. Well, did you see if Coleman had a chance to run out of bounds at all? But maybe not with only 6 seconds left.
Well, you would think a guy could run 30 yards in 6 seconds, but I don't know about Greg Coleman. Another gutty call by the Redskins, but where's the receiver for Coleman to throw the ball to?
Yeah, the Eagles had a defense pretty well.
Pretty smart call, but this is for all the marbles right now.
44-yard attempt, 6 seconds to go. The kick is long enough, and it's good. The kick is good, and the Redskins have taken a lead with 1 second to play. There There's 1 second showing on the clock, but Chip Lohmiller has kicked a 44-yard field goal, and the Redskins have taken a lead over Buddy Ryan and the Eagles, and Ryan is not going to wait for that 1 second. He's heading into the dressing room. Here it is again.
Great kick, obviously. The Redskins showing that, hey, they may not be the champs this year, but they still have what it takes to be the champs.
Considering all of the mistakes the Redskins have made today in every phase of the game, does Joe Gibbs want this game? Here's his reaction. And this Veteran Stadium crowd filing out is quiet and silent. The despair on the Eagles sideline.
It's unbelievable to me that this man right here is not sticking around for the last second of this ball game. There are a lot of people looking up that tunnel to see if he's going to come back out. I don't think he realizes that this game is not over yet.
And I got to go back to the play you talked about, the 4th and 1, when Doug Williams threw a pass for the first down to keep it going, and then following the fake, Lohmiller makes good on a 44-yard field goal to give the Redskins a 1-point lead.
And if anybody had any idea that Joe Gibbs is not a great football coach, he really showed it in the last drive for these winning points. He had that gutty call on 4th down, as you called. Also, the fake field goal on 2nd down, where you have a chance to either make the big play, but knowing that if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. It's not the game's not over. Throw it away, line up, try the field goal when it really counts, your last play of the ball game.
Buddy Ryan left for the dressing room. You saw the tunnel. He has not come out. Lohmiller will kick off. Keith Byers is the deep man, along with Chris Carter. Here's Lohmiller. It bounces, and it's caught by Little. Lateral to Konechny. Here's Carter. And there's a flip to Byers. Byers down the sideline, but that'll do it. Loose ball. The Redskins wind up with it. And it's Barry Wilburn who gets it as Lohmiller's field goal wins the game for the Redskins. And if Joe Gibbs wanted to find out what his team was made of, with their fading playoff hopes about to disappear, he found out this afternoon.
We also found
All right,
out
there are the standings in the Eastern Division, and for Giant fans, it's simple. Beat Kansas City, beat the Jets, both in the Meadowlands, and they wrap up the division title. Now, we're going to say goodbye to those folks who watched San Francisco beat Atlanta. Then we'll be joining up with those who watch Washington and Philadelphia, and we'll continue with the NFL Today postgame show on CBS in just a moment. All right, welcome to our studios in New York. Those of you who watched that exciting game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins. And the Redskins keep their playoff hopes alive with that field goal by Lohmiller, and the draft choice now comes through. But the play I want to focus on is not the successful field goal, but the one that shocked the whole lot of us. And that was the play before it. Lohmiller was set up to attempt a field goal. Coleman rolls out on the fake. And Dick Butkus, why did you think that was such a good call?
Well, Coleman, you know, can throw the ball and he's got good speed. So what the heck? He gives it the fake field goal and he rolls out. And if everybody's covered, like the Eagles did a good job of that, okay, he can still see the clock. Bam, can it. Spike the ball. I also think the Lohmiller gets a little reprieve there. I mean, he gets to line it up and gets to fake the kick and everything else while Coleman's running around, dashing around. Okay, now we come back. We're doing it for real. Okay,
here we go. Takes some pressure off the kicker then, huh, Herb?
It's a great strategy. You know, I really thought the Eagles would win this game today because they were so pumped up in Philadelphia all week long, looking forward to this ball game. But credit Joe Gibbs and his staff for doing an outstanding coaching job. There were plays called in that game that were just really great calls from the coaching staff.
Yeah, Redskins self-destructed all game long, it seemed, but they came by when it counted. We want to get you up to date on some active scores and highlights right now. These games are underway, none bigger than this one right now. Minnesota over New Orleans, and a short time ago, this is how the Vikings scored their touchdown to take a lead. Alfred Anderson from 1 yard out. I tell you, Dick, from inside about the 10-yard line, this Alfred Anderson is becoming about as tough as any runner in the league.
Well, him and I think Way Wilson, their quarterback, the passing game, they're getting Carter active, active finally, and I still think that that 10-day rest, I mean, it's going to do them well, I think, going down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we should stress here is that regardless of what happens, New Orleans has to have one eye on that game next week against San Francisco. They're still going to have to win it. 2 other games are underway, both in the AFC. Raiders and the Broncos, and the Raiders have struck first. They lead 7-0 right now in the Coliseum. The Jets in Kansas City ambush. The Chiefs are a pretty tough team at home. We're going to come back. We're going to hear from some of the heroes in Washington. We'll say goodbye to those of you who enjoyed the Giants-Cardinals game today. And for the rest of you, we'll be right back with the NFL Today postgame show in just a moment.